Chapter 1002 Life or Death. Chapter 1002 Life or Death. God Emperor Fairyland was a very special secret world. It revolves around the rule of encountering strong and weak. Last time, Long Fei was only a virtual immortal stage, so the powerhouse that came out of the grave was also a virtual immortal stage. Now, the God Emperor Fairyland's graveyard of gods had returned to its previous position. Just like the system update, Long Fei's current level was at the 4th stage of the Yuanxian S, so the powerhouse that came out was also at the 4th stage of the Yuanxian S God Emperor Fairyland. If you can't do it in one try, it will be refresh. Boom. The grave of the powerhouse was broken apart as a rushed out with the same realm as Long Fei, a 4th stage Yuanxian. Long Fei muttered to himself, as expected, it's the same as what I thought. Kill. The dragon Salia in Long Fei's hand moved, and slashed forward. After a few moves, after being brutally killed by Long Fei, the system sounded out. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei 4 killing powerhouse for obtaining 35,000 experience, 50 power of celestial and 1 energy values. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei 4 triggering opening God Emperor Fairyland quest. Mission, clear up God Emperor Fairyland level, SS reward, level +1, all skills +1, power of celestial value +1 million, points +100,000, acquired special power reward. Time, 1 time, cannot be repeated, punishment, unable to connect to God Emperor Fairyland, unable to leave. Or born. Or die. Long Fei said without any hesitation, I accept. In such a desperate situation, did he have a choice? No. There was only one way to break out of this predicament, and that was to crush everything. Huff. Gravity troll. Come out. Rumble. The gravity troll walked out of thin air with a giant mace in its hand, and knelt down on one knee, saying, Master. Long Fei said, turn over all of these tombs for me. The gravity troll immediately said, as you command, do you want to crush the grave and release those powerhouse lifeforms, or do you want me to kill them all? Use your gravity to crush these tombs. Long Fei ordered. The gravity troll's gravitational system and its uniqueness could make the surroundings lose its gravitational force and could also increase it by thousands, or even tens of thousands of times the gravity. Yes, sir. The gravity troll's brows twitched, and the gravitational force on its body began to burn. 100,000 times gravity, activate. Boom. A blast wave of energy flames shot out. As far as the eye could see, the entire tomb had been smashed open, and one powerhouse after another rushed out, hovering in the air. In less than half a minute, the sky was filled with people. They were all people stronger than Long Fei. You juniors actually dare to barge into the God Emperor's screen. Quickly leave and I'll spare your little life. A powerhouse said loudly. Long Fei smirked. Cut the crap, let's start. You're courting death. The powerhouse bellowed out in anger, crush him to pieces. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Countless powerhouse rushed at Xiong Long Fei, densely packed and overwhelming. Long Fei held onto the dragon Salia tightly and did not retreat. Instead, he crazily rushed up to it and by its side, the gravity troll firmly protected Long Fei. Lei Mo. Boom. A clap of thunder rumbled in the sky. The instant when all the powerhouse surrounded Long Fei densely in an instant, Lei Mo walked out from the void and laughed out excitedly, it's finally my turn to show off my might, ha ha ha. Laugh at your sister. Long Fei leaped up and a chestnut burst out, smashing onto the top of Lei Mo's head as he shouted out, hurry up and blast them for me. A large bump appeared on Lei Mo's head. He grimaced in pain and said, it's not even good for me to become cocky for a while, it's easy for me to unlock the earth-binding seal. Not waiting for him to finish. Long Fei smashed his fist down onto the bag with incomparable accuracy, causing another small bump to swell up on top of the big lump. Master, I can't act cocky anymore, I can't act cocky. I'm going to fight. I'm going to attack. Lei Mo had a bitter look on his face. The giant demon and earth demon gloated and said at the same time, serves you right. Long Fei shouted, everyone be serious, whoever dares to be cocky, I will break their little JJ. The 3 devil chrysanthemum tightened and did not dare to say another word. Blast it for me. Long Fei frowned. The attacks of the Powerhouse S were about to weaken. If he did not kill them, then the dead one would be Long Fei. At this time, Lei Mo did not dare to be careless. The aura on his body churned, and streaks of lightning filled his entire body. Lightning cut. Buzz. Lei Mo's body sank, and the lightning power within his body shot out from his chest like a beam of light, like a halo of light. He was unable to resist, and at that moment, time seemed to have stopped, as the Powerhouse S who were charging over froze in midair. Next. Hualala. Hualala. A series of explosions sounded out. His body was struck by the lightning, and he was cut in half. Not a single powerhouse within a few hundred meters had survived as they were all slashed to death. Thousands of powerhouse instantly killed. Seeing this scene, Long Fei had to admit that his scalp felt a little numb, and at the same time, he was extremely excited. That's a piece of cake, isn't it? The seal was undone. The bindings on Lei Mo's body all disappeared. Moreover, in this period of time, his power had undergone special transformations and become even more powerful. As if the system beep had exploded, Long Fei's eardrums were about to shatter from the shock. With a roar, he said, "Awesome, this is the rhythm, keep going." Heh. Boss, this thunder slash should be amazing, right? Lei Mo was smug again. Without waiting for him to finish speaking, the Earth Demon disdainfully said, "What? Now you're awesome for undoing the seal, right? Boss, let me out and let this bastard experience my power." Lei Mo immediately said, "Big bro Earth Demon, give me some face. I just got on the stage, shouldn't you at least let me have another go? I still have a big move that I haven't used yet." The Earth Demon said, "You call that little strength of yours a big move? Don't take it out and make a fool of yourself. Just watch me." The giant demon's hammer shook as he said, "Earth Demon, are you that awesome?" Table of contents, he could restrain Lei Mo, but he was very afraid of the gravity troll. His power of Earth would become useless due to the gravity, and the Earth Demon said in a speechless manner, "All right, you go first." Long Fei shouted, "Stop wasting your breath on me. Go at me together, release all of your major moves and powers for me." "Yes, sir. Boss, I can't wait any longer. Ha ha ha. Kill them all." Chapter 1003 Demon Beast Assembling. Chapter 1003 Demon Beast Assembling. Rumble. 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 Powerful energy constantly exploded in the air above the God Emperor city, as if the sky had split open. It was the same underground as the unceasingly brutal roars of Demon Beast. It was as if the hell's ferocious beasts were trying to break out of their cages and out of hell. In the sky, in the depths of the earth, an evil force was brewing and getting closer to the surface. In the depths of the mountain range, there were many demon beast armies gathered. Demon beast were gathering. The people of the God Emperor city were afraid all day, because all of this felt like the end of the world. The demon beast's heart throbbed. The suppression of the million-strong army of the magic tribe had caused the #1 city of the gods' martial continent to be in a precarious situation. They all knew about the magic tribe's great army pressuring the land, but what were the devastation of the demon beast, the howls from the depths of hell, and the roars from the sky? They did not know that the God Emperor city was about to be attacked by monsters. Not only were there demon beastess on God's martial continent, there were also some extremely strong beast. God Emperor city, God's Phoenix Pavilion. Everyone gathered in the small courtyard. Qiu Wandao said, "There are still 2 days until Long Fei comes out of seclusion. Within these 2 days, we need to make all the preparations." At first, they didn't know what Long Fei was worried about other than a million-strong army. Now they knew. They wanted to make the best preparations and waited for Long Fei to come out from closed-door cultivation. Fu Shishan said, "We have already gathered 100,000 death-sworn, and we have prepared 100,000 immortal crystals for Long Fei." Song Qianqian said, "I have also contacted the people from Dark Domain, and they have agreed to help." Aoya replied, "Those students who left the God Emperor Academy also agreed to help out." Everyone voiced out their opinions. Fat Men Chen said, "Jiu Tongqian's move is too ruthless. What Supreme God's test? It is simply dogshit. This is making things difficult for Boss." Originally, after Boss killed off Supreme God's influence, he was suddenly beaten back to his original state. Not only that, all the warriors who were stunned were all looking forward to Long Fei passing the test by himself. Qiu Wandao said, saying all these now is already useless. We just have to do our own thing. Waiting for Long Fei to come out from closed-door cultivation, Western Desil territory. Master, the magic tribe's army will be able to withstand my attacks in 2 days. At that time, the God Emperor city will be reduced to dust. Zhu Lai said excitedly. He was the great general of the immortal domain, and under his lead, the army of the magic tribe advanced quickly. However, he didn't meet any decent opponents along the way. He was looking forward to his battle with the God Emperor city. The master of magic tribe slightly nodded his head. We'll follow your plan, but we have to be careful of everything. Do not underestimate the immortal domain, its true power has yet to be unleashed. Zhu Lai said complacently, Don't worry master, I will definitely be careful. As long as Palace Question of God's powerhouse does not attack, no one in Immortal Domain will be able to stop my magic tribe's army. Immortal Domain is just a pile of sand, it's useless. Right. Master, I heard the cries of all sorts of strange beasts around God Emperor City yesterday. They came from the sky, the hell, and the deep mountains and marshes. The demon beast from all the great mountains are gathering crazily for some reason. This is something that hasn't happened in God's martial continent before. Zhu Lai couldn't understand. Furthermore, all of the gathered demon beast are charging towards the God Emperor city this time. Could it be that the demon beast also realized that the immortal domain is in danger now, and wanted to take advantage of the time when he is sick to take his life? Will the demon beast race rise again? Are the demon beast gathering? Master of Magic Tribe tensed up. This was the first time he had heard of such a thing. Moreover, deep underground, within the void. Why is that? This sign was very strange. Zhu Lai saw that Master of Magic Tribe was also frowning and could not help but ask, Don't tell me Monster Army is here for us? Could it be that there are people in Immortal Domain who can still summon and control demon beasts? Master of Magic Tribe shook his head. That shouldn't be the case. Monster Army taking advantage of this time to enter. There is only one reason. Their goal is also God Emperor City. Ha ha ha. Zhu Lai laughed excitedly, and said, Even if Palace Question of God intervenes now, I won't be able to protect them. These monster army are simply the perfect cannon fodder, and I still want to think of a way to break through the city. It looks like I don't have to worry at all now. Master, in 3 days, you will be able to personally visit God Emperor City and stand on equal footing with him. You will be able to share all of God's martial continent's cultivation resources. Ha ha ha. Zhu Lai became excited as the image of Song Qianqian appeared in his mind. At that time, you will become Zhu Lai's woman. The Master of Magic Tribe said slightly. This time, the one fighting against the Magic Tribe's army is Long Fei. You have to be careful of one person. Long Fei. The last battle on the walls of the demon region had caused him to lose all face in front of Song Qianqian. The current him was completely different from 3 years ago, and this time, he would definitely trample Long Fei to death. Absolutely. Zhu Lai's forehead turned sinister as he thought to himself, Long Fei, I hope that you won't disappoint me, or you'll be crushed by just 1 round, ha ha ha. You want to steal my woman? You are worthy of being a trash. Outer Space Palace, Hall of Immortals. Jiyu Tongtian sat on the seat of the Supreme God. Dozens of elders in the hall whispered to each other. How strange. This has never happened before. What is it? Even the Outer Space Palace was severely affected. The nature's spirit energy is obviously thinner than it was a few days ago, as though it was sucked dry. What exactly is the monster roaring in the sky? Could it be the domain beast that devoured everything? Damn, don't scare me like that. Domain beast can devour planes. If it comes out of nowhere, do you think we will still be alive, domain beast? A magical beast that devoured space. An incomparably powerful existence. The things that happened around God Emperor City yesterday had caused the elders of the Outer Space Palace to feel fear in their hearts. After all, it was the first time they had ever heard of it. Even Jiyu Tongtian was the same. He had never seen anything like this before. It was too strange. The demon beast in the sky and the demon beast deep underground, what kind of demon beast were they exactly? At this moment, A star spirit messenger descended into the Hall of Immortals and said, reporting to the Grand Elder, "We did not find Long Fei. He has completely disappeared." Huh? Jiyu Tongtian's heart tightened. It disappeared? Could it really be that kid's doing? Long Fei could not be found in the Great Void Mirror. His aura could not sense Long Fei. Suddenly, Long Fei seemed to have vanished from the face of the earth. One of the elders said, "Great Clan Elder, could it be that all of this is caused by Long Fei? This kid has always been quite strange. Maybe it's really him." Jiyu Tongtian frowned and said coldly, "Long Fei, it seems like my warning to you isn't enough." Chapter 1004, Killing All. Chapter 1004, Killing All. At this moment, a few other star spirit messengers entered the Hall of Immortals. An envoy reported, in the past 3 years, Fengyuan Business Alliance's Fu Shishan has nurtured 100,000 death soldiers. They are all in 5 properties of Fengyuan Business Alliance, so they are absolutely loyal to Fu Shishan. A few elders of the Dark Domain and more than 300 disciples were also persuaded by Song Qianxian to help Long Fei fight against the enemy together. Chen Tianfei's Chen family was also persuaded by Chen Tianfei to resist the enemy together. Also, this is the God Emperor city. No one could escape the control of the palace question of God. Long Fei disappeared. Since that was the case, then there was a need to give Long Fei a bit of a warning. This would let him know what would happen if he disobeyed orders and randomly disappeared, and also let the people of the God Emperor city see what would happen if he secretly helps Long Fei. And then, Jiyu Tongtian slightly said, "I understand." A few minutes later, at the side of the Golden Deity's lake, Jiyu Tongtian slightly said, "You must really want to take revenge, right?" Supreme God's eyes flashed with a sharp light, and he said, "Master, even in my dreams I think, this time I will not lose, I definitely will not. I swear on my life." Jiyu Tongtian laughed. "This time, I'm not asking you to deal with Long Fei. Long Fei has a few powers that I need to eliminate, so it can be considered as a warning to Long Fei, to let him know the consequences of disobeying orders." Supreme God immediately said, "Please speak." God Emperor Fairyland. The 3 giant demons disappeared. They only appeared for an hour a day, and that was also the reason why their breaking through the seal only appeared for 5 minutes. Now, only Long Fei was left. However, he was not idle and did not do nothing. He was constantly using cultivation techniques and battle techniques to fight, constantly breaking his own limits, time after time, again and again. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for slaying first stage Immortal Unity Stage Powerhouse for obtaining 43,000 experience, 100 power of celestial points, and 1 energy values point. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, Yuanxian 5th pin, Shua. Long Fei's attributes were fully recovered. His health point, power of celestial S, and even the wounds on his body were all healed. However, his spiritual force was still in an extremely exhausted state. Super Saiyang mode, activate. Boom! Long Fei roared in his heart, strength of the Yuanxian, open, buzz. Long Fei continuously forced himself into dire straits, and looking at the dozen or so first-stage Unity Immortal Powerhouses charging at him, the Dragon Salya in Long Fei's hands trembled, and crazily rushed up, roaring, "Come, all of you come." If he wasn't crazy, he wouldn't turn into a demon. Long Fei had completely forced himself into a corner. Only in desperate situations would the human potential be stimulated, and the human limit be broken. There was only a day left. He had to go all out to break through to an even higher realm. Increasing his cultivation by 1 rank every day was practically like riding a rocket to ordinary people, but to Long Fei, he was not satisfied, he was far from satisfied. Long Fei rushed forward. Half of the 3 days had passed, and he hadn't even gotten to the normal route for God Emperor Fairyland. Moreover, the powerhouse was becoming stronger and stronger. After the fitted realm was the immortal realm, and there was also the flying fairyland. Could he finish the mission? Long Fei was not confident. However, he told himself that there could not be a way out, and that it had to be completed within 3 days. Otherwise, he would die, his brothers and sisters of the God's martial sect would die, and his relatives in the Nantian region would also be killed because of him. He was going to risk it all. Come on. Come again. Long Fei's entire body was covered in blood, and he rushed forward without hesitation. Every time he struck with all his might, he would do his best to increase his strength as much as possible, to stimulate even more of his potential. Every time he would fight with everything he had in front of the last battle. Now, Long Fei really had no way out. Midnight. Inside God Emperor City, in a remote place. In a gigantic family-like villa, corpses could be seen everywhere. All of them were killed in one move, and the cultivation of the corpses were all at virtual immortals, powerhouse of golden immortal rank, yet they were all killed in a single move. This kind of attack was too strong. It was unstoppable. What did you say? All 20,000 warriors died. Fu Shishan's body trembled, and her face paled. Those death soldiers were the elites she nurtured for 3 years, and they were all killed within a short moment. How strong was the opponent? It was hard to imagine. Fu Shishan immediately asked, "Who is it?" Even if it's the Fairy Hall Elder themselves, they can't do it. Could they be the supreme elders of the Outer Space Palace? Before she could finish speculating, another person also rushed into the courtyard, saying, "Alliance head Fu, all 20,000 of the dead warriors from Nanshan Garden have died." What? This was the power that she prepared for Long Fei, the only thing she could do for him. All the 100,000 death soldiers were the elites of the elites, and they were absolutely loyal. But in just a few short minutes, he received news in succession. 40,000 death soldiers were killed just like that. It was also at this time. Qiu Wandao and the others walked out and asked, "What happened?" Fu Shishan said, 40,000 death warriors were killed, not a single one was left, I'm afraid. Fu Shishan looked at the night sky and asked, Jiyu Tongtian made his move. Qiu Wandao's face tensed up, and said, why would he suddenly attack? Furthermore, no one else knew about the death soldiers. How did he know the location of the death soldiers? Why did Jiyu Tongtian make a move? Everything had yet to begin. It ended before it even began. Fu Shishan didn't think too much about it, and said, Presbyter Qiu, if they can discover the positions of the 40,000 death warriors, then they must know of the death soldiers from the other 3 places. We must protect them. This is the power that I have prepared for Long Fei. It is the only thing that I can do. Eldest miss, it's bad. Fu Tianlong ran into the backyard in a hurry and said, the Chen family. All 637 members of the Chen family have been killed, and not even a single chicken, duck or dog has survived. At this moment, when Fat Man Chen walked out of the room earlier and heard about this matter, he was stupefied. He did not know how to react and asked, Uncle Tianlong, what joke are you playing? Who dares to touch my Chen family? He didn't believe it. The Chen family readmitted the Fat Man Chen. Chen Tianfei did not care about the former hatred, and the Chen family agreed to help him fight the enemy, since that was his family, a place he grew up in. Fu Tianlong looked at Fat Man Chen and said, Young Master Chen, I am not lying to you. The Chen family has been annihilated. Fat Man Chen's eyes trembled. At this moment, various sounds could be heard from the street. Hurry up and put out the fire. The general's residence is on fire. Hurry and put out the fire. The Chen family has been wiped out. Blood flowed like a river. Fat Man Chen's body trembled as if he could not stand. With a roar, he charged out like a bolt of lightning. Chapter 1005 Ending. Chapter 1005 Ending. 20,000 more have been killed. Eldest miss the death sworn from the Eastern Mountain Institution also. The whole night was bad news. Fu Shishan did not know what to do the entire night, as if he had been stunned. The power they had gathered was completely uprooted in one night. They didn't even have a chance to react. Fu Shishan was going crazy. Both of his eyes were lifeless, his face incomparably ugly, his mouth kept muttering, it can't be, it can't be, it can't be like this, 100,000 death soldiers is my present to Long Fei, it's the only thing I can do for Long Fei, why is it so? He went in and out of the yard, constantly reporting grievous news. Out of 100,000 death warriors, not a single one was left alive. All killed. Moreover, I don't even know who did it. Every time Qiu Wandao went, it was too late. By the time he rushed over, all the death soldiers had already died, without a single exception. They were all killed instantly by an incomparably powerful skill. Even Qiu Wandao himself did not have the confidence to withstand this kind of power. At least a powerhouse of the immortal realm. But the number of powerhouse in the immortal realm could be counted on one hand in the palace question of God. Could it really be that Jiyu Tongtian had made his move? To use an open method and an unspoken method, wasn't this too despicable? Early morning. Fat Man Chen's face was pitch black. He didn't know how he got back to God's Phoenix Pavilion, but he felt like he died. His entire body had lost its soul, the Chen family. The entire clan had been exterminated. From the 100-year-old man to the infant that was in the cradle, not a single person was left alive. They were all killed. It was a tragic scene, and seeing those familiar uncles lying in a pool of blood, Fat Man Chen's heart trembled a little. Finally, his heart had become numb. When he walked into the courtyard, he had become a completely different person from that arrogant and despotic fatty. At this time, Qiu Wandao also walked into the courtyard with a face full of exhaustion. Looking at Fu Shishan, who gently shook his head, he said with a pained expression, "All dead. Sorry, we are too weak, we are one step too slow every time. Our opponents are too strong, at least we have the cultivation of immortal realm." Aoya walked into the courtyard. With bloodshot eyes and a face full of tears, she muttered, "Yesterday, he agreed to fight against the God Emperor Academy's army with me. He killed all of them one night ago. His methods were extremely cruel." Everyone shivered. Song Qianqian's face was also ugly. He walked into the courtyard and said, "The elders of the Dark Domain, all the warriors have also been killed. One night. All of their preparations had been disintegrated. All destroyed. They didn't even have time to react. In the yard. It was as if they were all dead. In these 3 years, everything that Fu Shishan had done was gone. This was not because the Fengyuan business alliance was gone, but because she had made preparations for Long Fei, and the things she had done for him were gone. Poochie." Fu Shishan spat out a mouthful of blood as he fainted. Man Tuoluo hurriedly stepped forward and fed Fu Shishan a healing pellet. After slightly sensing the situation, he said, "She's all right. The blow was too strong and she had fainted. She'll wake up once she finishes sleeping." "Why? Why is that? Why is that? Ah!" The Fat Man Chen roared crazily and roared at the sky. It was also at this time. The sky suddenly darkened, and a huge face was imprinted in the sky, sneering disdainfully. Everyone in God Emperor City saw this face. The face of the great clan elder, Jiyu Tongtian. This is the result of him disobeying orders. If he does not appear now, then the consequences will not only be this, but your little lives. Jiyu Tongtian said coldly. Long Fei will be tested by the Supreme God. Whoever dares to help him will be going against the palace question of God. All of you, listen carefully. As the voice spread, everyone in God Emperor City heard it loud and clear. Fat Man Chen roared, "Jiyu Tongtian, I'll fuck your 18 generations of ancestors, get the hell down here if you have the gut." He was furious. They did not know what had happened, so why was Long Fei disobedient? Qiu Wandao's brows tightened, and said, "Could it be that even Jiyu Tongtian was unable to sense Long Fei's position within the God Emperor Fairyland, and only acted because of this?" Jiyu Tongtian's cold smile was imprinted in midair. He did not even look at Fat Man Chen, because of contempt, because Fat Man Chen did not even have the qualifications to be looked at by him. "Remember, Long Fei, this is to teach you a small lesson. If you dare disobey me again, you won't end up like this." Finished. Jiyu Tongtian was ready to disappear. And at this moment, a roar sounded from the sky above God Emperor City, the kind of roar that would make one's heart palpitate exploded, instantly engulfing that huge face of Jiyu Tongtian's that was complacent. It was incomparably valiant. Above Hall of Immortals. Jiyu Tongtian was so frightened that he broke out in a cold sweat, and his body became a little weak. That kind of power was too terrifying, and also because of this shock, his lifespan dropped by a few days. Anger raged in his heart. The creatures in the void were too terrifying. Even Jiyu Tongtian should not be afraid. What should we do? All our preparations are gone. We only have 100,000 immortal crystals left, but there's no one here. No matter how many immortal crystals we have, it's useless. We can't help Long Fei in anything. Fu Shishan woke up and started to blame himself in pain. In the yard, everyone had their heads down. Their hearts were all filled with rage. A lot of people were laughing at them. Especially those elders of the Hall of Immortals. Fighting with the palace question of God. He was overestimating himself. What should we do? What can we do on the last day? Song Qianqian muttered. The million-strong army of the magic tribe was almost at the bottom of the God Emperor city. Right now, they were. Nothing could be done. This feeling was very uncomfortable. His heart ached as if it had been pressed down by a huge rock. It was an incomparable pain. God Emperor Fairyland. Huff, huff, huff. Long Fei gasped as though he was an ox, looking at the overwhelming powerhouse. These powerhouse had already reached the immortal realm. Too powerful. None of the Long Fei's could withstand it. As for the 3 giant demons, they could only barely resist. Even if there were more people, they still wouldn't be able to resist. Crack. Ding. Do you want to release the Xianbao Spirit Stones? Yes, sir. The Xianbao Spirit Stones has been successfully released. The value of the power of Celestial has increased by 1 million points. There are still 6 more Spirit Stones left for me to use. Boom. Turn Yang Long into God. Long Fei instantly turned into the incomparably ferocious flame dragon ancestor, and in that instant, he roared in his heart, unparalleled at the 8th level, open. Boom, boom, boom. The fiery energy in his body dispersed into the sky, while Long Fei charged forward regardless of anything else, wildly wreaking havoc, because Long Fei saw the end of the God Emperor Fairyland not far away from him. A huge piece of magic stone. There. It should be the boss. The ultimate boss of the God Emperor Fairyland. Chapter 1006 Yuanxian 9th Pin. Chapter 1006 Yuanxian 9th Pin. 256 times that of the Purple Flame Dragon Grandmaster's stats had been activated. At this moment, the Flame Dragon Patriarch wreaked havoc, ravaging the powerhouse of the immortal realm. He opened his bloody mouth and bit down on several of the powerhouses of the immortal realm, suddenly biting down. Catcher. Blood dripped from between his teeth. At the same time, Long Fei's devouring vein was frantically devouring the powerhouse's strength, aura, and blood vein-s roar. The raging dragon roared, its humongous body suddenly flipped in the air, the thick flame energy crushed down, sending all the powerhouse flying. Another large group of people rushed forward. They were also protecting the magic stone in the God Emperor Fairyland. On the 4 sides of the magic stone, there were 8 extremely thick chains that were tightly holding it, as if they were trying to trap a terrifying powerhouse beneath the magic stone. Whose grave is the magic stone buried in? What realm was it? I don't know right now, but I'll know soon. Long Fei roared in his heart. Rumble. Forefather Flame Dragon once again displayed his might and began to madly crush Jiang Chen. Each and every one of these powerhouses were extremely powerful existences. Although their health was not as frightening as the Supreme God's 1 billion points, it still reached 130 million points. Even the power of the turn Yang Long into God was not enough to instantly kill them. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing level 5 immortal powerhouse for obtaining 50,000 experience, 20,000 power of celestial points, and 1 energy values point. It doesn't explode. The experience points was 5 million apiece. Kill. Flame Dragon Burning Heaven. Boom. Long Fei roared in his heart, and also summoned his sky-burning dragon gun. The power of burning heaven on the dragon spear fused with the flames on the flame dragon's body, and streams of flaming golden light charged out, forming numerous powerful dragon spear phantoms that shot down explosively. Swish, swish, swish. Those powerhouses were nailed to the ground by the dragon spear mirages. A long string of damage floated out from above their heads, and at this moment, Long Fei's body moved, flickering flame dragon tail. He swung his tail. It was as if the heavens were split and the earth was split as it smashed down heavily. Rumble. Those powerhouse that were nailed to the ground were crushed to pieces. The system beep exploded. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing level 5 Immortal Powerhouse for obtaining 50,000 experience, 20,000 power of celestial points, and 1 energy values point. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Currently at the 8th level of the Yuanxian S. He had leveled up. Long Fei had fully recovered his health point and power of Celestial S, and the injuries on his body had also healed instantly. The power of the 8th stage Yuanxian gushed into his body. Long Fei became stronger. Not enough. Not enough. It's far from enough. Long Fei screamed in his heart, and he crushed his opponent even more violently. Like a mad demon, his every nerve was stretched taut, becoming stronger, and becoming an existence that could crush Jiyu Tongtian. When Jiyu Tongtian threatened him with Nantian region's family, he had already touched upon the weakest nerve in Long Fei's heart. No matter what, Long Fei had to overturn Jiyu Tongtian and Palace Question of God. The only way was to level up and become stronger. What happened in Nantian region? Long Fei did not know. But since Jiyu Tongtian had said those words, Long Fei believed that Jiyu Tongtian had made a move on his family. If it was Jiyu Tongtian who did it, then everything made sense, because Nantian region's martial arts training was too weak, and the of the Flying Fairyland could easily crush him with a small finger. But was the Nantian region controlled by Jiyu Tongtian? No. It was just that Long Fei did not know. In the entire God's martial continent, who would dare to make a move against the Nantian region? What was the purpose of making a move on the Nantian region? Long family? Or was it the Dragon Domain? All of these were unknown, and only by returning to the Nantian region would he know what happened. But what Long Fei needed to do now was to level up and break through the God Emperor Fairyland. He did not have much time left. He only had a few hours left before the time for the monsters to attack the city. Long Fei's heart tensed, he gritted his teeth, seeing those Immortal Realm powerhouse who were charging forward once again. He moved his dragon head and roared, charging forward. Time. It was extremely urgent. The establishment of the God's martial sect, the monster siege system triggered by the system. How strong would it be? Long Fei did not know. But he knew clearly in his heart that no one in the God's martial continent would have thought of the demon beast attacking the city. If he did not rush back immediately, the God Emperor city would definitely fail, and at that time, all 50 people in God's martial sect would be killed, including himself. Kill. 3 hours later. Long Fei regained his real face look, supporting his knees with both of his hands. He gasped for breath heavily. At this moment, his cultivation had already reached the 9th stage of the Yuanxian. 3 days ago, he was still at the 9th stage of the Golden Immortal stage, but now, he was at the 9th stage of the Yuanxian. This leveling speed was incomparable. However, Long Fei was still not satisfied. Even if one reached the fitted realm, the difference in power between them and the Flying Fairyland was just too big, an existence that was completely stomped over. 3 days and 3 nights without a second's rest. Long Fei's body was exhausted, but he could not stop. In the last grave, after killing the powerhouse, he would be able to pass through the God Emperor Fairyland and receive the system's special reward. This would also mean that his power of celestial value had increased to 1,000,000 points. Hoo. Long Fei exhaled a breath of air. Looking at the gigantic soaring magic stone, the aura emitted by the magic stone felt like it was in hell. Yang Huang Ancestor said, "Brat, the aura released by this magic stone is too terrifying." And this magic stone. Yang Huang Ancestor was silent for half a second. Although he was unwilling, he still spoke straightforwardly. "This magic stone is a spirit treasure, but I do not know what it is called or what kind of power it possesses." This was a huge blow to the Yang Huang Ancestor. There were still things in the God's martial continent that he did not understand. It was truly a blow to him. However, something that even the Yang Huang Ancestor could not understand also meant that this magic stone was a super powerful holy artifact. Long Fei's heart began to boil. Something that even you can't understand must definitely be good stuff. Hey, that would be even more so if we were to blow it up. Yang Huang Ancestor said, "Brat, you better think about it carefully. This piece of magic stone is a ferocious beast, Once it is activated, the consequences will be. Without waiting for Yang Huang ancestor to finish, Long Fei had already walked out, and the dragon's salyer in his hands descended, slashing at an incomparably thick chain. Break for me. There was no way for him to consider the consequences. There were only 2 hours left before dawn, and the monsters were about to attack the city. He had no time. He could only leave after opening up the God Emperor Fairyland, Long Fei. There was no way out. Don't be terrified. Exactly. Rumble. One of the chains broke, and the silver-green runes on the magic stone began to flicker unstably. Chapter 1007, The Ultimate Boss, Han Ba. Chapter 1007, The Ultimate Boss, Han Ba. Boom. Yet another chain was severed. The magic stone began to tremble. The sound of heavy breathing came from below the magic stone. Even if the 10,000-year-old giant had awakened, it still seemed to be breathing air. Boom. The third chain broke. The magic stone was on the verge of collapse, but the aura it was emitting was surging. Break. 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 There was only one left, and it was also the thickest chain. At this time, the magic stone seemed to have become silent, and even the aura of the magic stone had disappeared, returning to its original state. This was not disappearing, but the calm before the storm. It was waiting. They were waiting for the moment it would break out of the earth. Huff, huff, huff. Long Fei held onto the dragon's salyer tightly and walked to the last chain. The Yang Huang ancestor still tried to persuade him, and said, "You have to think carefully, I can't even deal with the fellow down there, you." Patriarch, there is no path of retreat for my Dao. Long Fei raised his blade and cut down. Break for me. Crack. The chain snapped, and the aura of the magic stone fiercely exploded out. An explosive sound rang in the air, and the powerful energy formed a shockwave that shot out, placing itself onto Long Fei's body before he could even react. A mouthful of blood sprayed out. Long Fei's body was sent flying several kilometers away. Cracks appeared on his chest and the wound was deep enough to see bones. Even old ancestor Jin's defenses were instantly destroyed. At this moment, the fresh blood that Long Fei spat out was absorbed by the magic stone. The fresh blood flowed down along the twisted runes on the magic stone and was finally completely absorbed into the grave. A red light flashed. The grave split open, and waves of crimson light shone through the cracks. The magic stone also began to tremble violently. The seal runes on the magic stone released sets of intense light waves, however. He couldn't suppress it. 8 chains were severed, and the power of the seal was destroyed. The magic stone could not take it. Crack. A crack appeared on the magic stone and eerie ghostly wails came out from the crack. Woo! Ah! Ah! Ha! Thousands of ghosts roared. Cracks appeared on the magic stone and the seal array on it was completely destroyed. The power of the runes started to dissipate. Rumble. With a loud bang, the magic stone flew up into the sky. Landing on the ground, a deep pit appeared. The aura of the magic stone all disappeared, and the magic stone turned into a normal-looking stone tablet. The grave burst out. Boom. A man that looked like a dried corpse slowly crawled out from the grave. His entire body was like a skeleton, his hair was sparse, his face was snow-white, 2 fangs were in his mouth, and on his stomach, there was a big mouth. The moment he climbed out of the grave, the ground began to burn. The ground began to heat up. Seeing his figure, Long Fei thought of a boss that had appeared in a game in his previous life. Han Ba. Zombie ancestor. The god of drought that the ancient gods fused into one. An incomparably terrifying existence. Also at this moment, Long Fei's heart trembled, looking at the purple gold light on Han Ba's body. This boss was a purple gold boss, an existence surpassing any gold boss. Above the purple light, he could feel the aura emitted by Han Ba. It was the first time in Long Fei's life that he felt fear. Because Han Ba was really too strong. The aura emanating from his body was completely unstoppable. However, at the same time, Long Fei was also excited. The ultimate boss in the God Emperor Fairyland, what kind of thing can he drop? Wow, this is too exciting. Explode him. In an instant. Long Fei's fear was immediately seized by his madness. Seeing this super big boss, if he did not destroy it, then would he still have the face to meet others in the future? Then what the F***K was he doing? Moreover, the experienced Long Fei knew very well that if he treated this as a game, the first time he came here was to trigger the skill exchange system. There was no quest to open up the God Emperor Fairyland. It was obvious that this was the first time he did not have the ability to do so. This was the second time he had entered. If the system triggers a SS grade quest, then that means there must be a way to kill it. Otherwise, it was impossible for the system to trigger the task. There must be a way. Long Fei's mind tensed up, his mind started to work frantically. At this moment, Han Ba exhaled a breath of profound qi towards the sky, his figure low and deep, then said, "No one can suppress me, no one can't stop me. Do you think you can just leave the seal here? Ha ha ha. No one can trap me. Ha ha ha." Laughing wildly, the entire God Emperor Fairyland trembled. The God Emperor Fairyland was the most special existence of the gods' martial continent. Tens of millions, hundreds of millions of years, these powerhouses' graves were placed here, and as long as someone dug out the grave, they would automatically rush out. In truth, all of this was to stop them from opening Han Ba's tomb. Just to prevent it. Their graves were also a type of formation seal. Thousands of powerhouses' graves were all for the sake of suppressing Han Ba. Powerhouse's tomb was exterminated by Long Fei. The first level of the seal was broken, 8 pieces of the meteoric iron god chain were cut off, and the second level of the seal was broken. Magic stone suppressed the seal, the strongest one. It was also because of the rupture. The most crucial point. The mouthful of refined blood that Long Fei spat out sprinkled onto the magic stone, causing its power to be severely damaged. The magic stone's blood was absorbed by Han Ba, and as his power crazily recovered, the magic stone broke apart, and all of the seal in Han Ba's tomb was broken through. Just as Han Ba was laughing maniacally, Long Fei crawled up from the ground. In his mind, he was thinking, "I'm going to blow you up." It was also because of this thought. Han Ba's eyes became angry and his pupils became tense. He grabbed at the air with his 5 fingers. "You petty person, how dare you be so impudent in front of me, Han Ba? You overestimate yourself." Sure. Before Long Fei could even stabilize himself, he was already restricted by an extremely strong force. He was stuck in place as his body crazily shot out and he was completely crushed by the force, unable to move at all. It was extremely uncomfortable. Bang! Long Fei was sucked into his palm by Han Ba. With a light raise of his hand, he directly sent Long Fei into the air. "A trash like you? You want to touch me too?" At this moment, the profound qi, blood, and energy in Long Fei's body were frantically being absorbed, and he was also dying. Too strong. Han Ba's strength was simply too strong. Even if he had been trapped here for millions of years by the seal. Even. The god's martial continent was born for the sake of the seal. In such a long period of time, the moment Seal woke up, his power was still far from being able to recover a tenth of his power, but who is he? The zombie ancestor of the ancient gods, Han Ba from the drought god. He was too strong. A tenth of a power would be enough to easily crush anyone. In front of nothing. Am I going to die? Am I going to die? Chapter 1008, Mutual Devour. Chapter 1008, Mutual Devour. It was very hard. It was extremely uncomfortable. It was 10,000 times worse than death. All of his profound qi, strength, and aura were losing out crazily. This kind of feeling was like drawing his blood and eating his flesh, and it was even a little bit at a time. This kind of pain was unbearable to anyone. Even Long Fei was about to clench his teeth together and break it. Yang Huang ancestor was also terrified. His strength was also being drained. The power of the 14th dragon ancestor was also draining away. All of the energy in Long Fei's body was being drained. Golden Dragon Master said, "Azure Dragon, hurry up and think of a way. I'm almost unable to hold on." Golden Dragon Master was desperately trying to protect Long Fei's mind. If not for his protection, Long Fei's sea of consciousness would have been sucked dry and turned into a corpse. Sea Dragon King said in shock, Azure Dragon, is he the Han Ba who entered the reincarnation cycle tens of millions of years ago in the divinity? Why was he here? Why is Seal here? Could it be that someone was trying to do it intentionally? Sea Dragon King, now is not the time to talk about this. We should just think about how to break through Han Ba's power. Ghost Dragon said loudly. Why God's Martial Continent? Could it be that the God's Martial Continent is hiding some secret? Sea Dragon King was curious. Han Ba, the super powerhouse of the divinity, his strength was stronger than the dragon's. Why was it in the God's Martial Continent? Being still in the seal here, the tombs of the powerhouse were being placed one after another to contain his power, and were also replenishing his essence energy. Even if he was in the seal, he would remain an indestructible existence for billions of years, and it was the seal, or even nourishment. What was it? Why did you raise him here? Also, tens of millions of God's Martial Continent, in the span of 100 million years, without a single powerhouse that succeeded in transcending the tribulation, the fallen powerhouse of the flying fairyland were all buried here. Or could it be that someone had forcefully suppressed them and did not allow the God's Martial Continent to undergo tribulation in order to break through the void? Or was it? What if he needed the nourishment to feed Han Ba's profound chi? Everything was too hard to explain. The dragon race led by Yuan Long had accidentally barged into the God's Martial Continent. They thought that they were the only people that were able to enter the God's Martial Continent, but they were wrong. Long ago, 1,000,000 years ago, there was Han Ba who was given the seal. This. Even the Yuan Long did not know. Sea Dragon King, thinking about this is useless. I better think of a way to break through Han Ba's restraints. Poisonous Ancestor said while gasping for breath, his cultivation was the weakest, his absorption was the fastest, his body could not even take it anymore. If this continued, they would be completely sucked into Han Ba. It was also at this time. Yang Huang Ancestor and Green Dragon Ancestor shouted at the same time, Long Fei, use your devouring vein to absorb his profound qi. Yi Zichen's words woke the man from his dreams. Long Fei seemed to have suddenly awakened from the brink of death. Excitement flashed past his eyes as he glared at the extremely ferocious Han Ba and roared, absorb this daddy will also absorb your strength. Ah! Level 8 Peerless, open. Long Fei roared. At this time, he couldn't care so much anymore as he grabbed Han Ba's arm with one hand and roared in his heart, the strength of the devouring vein, explode for me. Buzz. The devouring vein's power started to circulate. It began to frantically devour. Also at this moment, various types of powerful energies drilled into Long Fei's body. All sorts of scenes were playing out. The four walls were everywhere, and the sky was filled with dried corpses. Flames burned the sky. It was an extremely terrifying scene where Han Ba was incomparably arrogant, unbridled existence. That kind of unbridled power, even in the divinity, was the absolute overlord of an overlord, much stronger than the dragon race. He killed far too many people, followed where he died, and was finally blown apart by the power of the heavenly scourge. The next scene. Even in the endless abyss of darkness, Han Ba roared again and attacked again, but he was still unable to break through the restraints. That kind of pain was even more miserable than the pain Long Fei was experiencing right now. It really is the divinity's Han Ba. We should have entered the reincarnation channel billions of years ago. Why isn't there one? What kind of plot is hidden? Divinity. It's a lot more complicated than we imagined. Could it be related to the tribulation of our dragon clan? It seems like I have to go back to the divinity to clarify this. They could also see what Long Fei could see. There was no coincidence in the world. Han Ba had not been sent into the reincarnation seal in the God's Martial Continent, and it was also a coincidence that they had entered the low realm called the God's Martial Continent. Their original route had not been to the God's Martial Continent, but to another higher plane. But now, the Green Dragon Ancestor was also silent. Everything had become extremely strange. What kind of shocking conspiracy was hidden in the divinity? However, and why did Long Fei enter the God Emperor Fairyland? Why did he break Han Ba's seal and release him? All of this was controlled. The 14th Dragon Ancestor came from the divinity, so they knew some things that had happened in the divinity. Han Ba had entered the cycle of reincarnation under the judge of a magistrate. There was no doubt that someone was hiding something. They know. But what Long Fei wanted to do now was to blow Han Ba up. Who cares what divinity, what conspiracy, he just wanted to explode. The circulation of the devouring vein gave Long Fei a slight chance to catch his breath, but this was not enough to cause any harm to Han Ba, and there was contempt in Han Ba's eyes as well. Don't you know that I can even burn the sky? Ha ha ha. You want to compete in devouring power with me? Are you even worthy? Buzz. The aura of strength on Han Ba exploded outwards. An even more powerful force surged out. Long Fei also understood very clearly that the devouring vein in his body was still at level 0, it was simply impossible for it to compete with Han Ba in devouring energy. He was not his match at all, he had to break away from Han Ba no matter what. In that instant, Long Fei turned the energy he had absorbed from Han Ba into an attack and suddenly erupted. Rumble. Backlash. An incomparably strong force directly exploded and broke one of Han Ba's hands, sending him flying as well. He violently threw the hand that was grabbing onto his neck, and his body sank. This time, no matter what, he could not be absorbed by Han Ba. It escaped Han Ba's control. More than half of Long Fei's profound qi and blood essence disappeared. Long Fei, who was originally extremely exhausted, now had an extremely pale face, just like a person who had reached the end of his life. Han Ba's severed arm did not have any expression, because in the next second after it was broken, his arm instantly grew back out, and with a cold smile on his face, he stared at Long Fei who was in the distance and revealed a devilish sneer. Swallowing my strength, use my strength as an attack again. Interesting. Then it's mine. Sure. Han Ba disappeared. Chapter 1009, Bloodlust. Chapter 1009, Bloodlust. Han Ba disappeared. Too fast. There was no trace of movement. Yang Huang Ancestor also could not react in time. 14th Dragon Ancestor and the others were also the same. Reaction. Han Ba was too strong. However, Long Fei did not react. In terms of speed, strength and reaction speed, Long Fei was not his match either. He knew very well that if he wanted to kill this boss, he would need to rely on normal means. The idea connected to the Xianbao spirit stones. Open for me, Buzz. After 1,000,000 power of celestial points entered his body, the Xianbao spirit stones only had 5 chances left. Long Fei did not care about all this. The moment he got 1,000,000 power of celestial points, he roared out, Sky Dragon Divine Transformation Art, activate for me. Roar. Long Fei's body instantly transformed into an ancient dragon. The thick dragon's might crushed the void as it crazily rushed out. In that moment, his reaction had also caught up to Han Ba. Rumble. The two of them collided against each other. Ancient dragons? Green Dragon Ancestor was shocked. 14th Dragon Ancestor was completely shocked. Ancient dragons. There were no ancient dragons in the Dragon Clan of God's Martial Continent. Only the Dragon Clan of Divinity had the ancient dragon's bloodline, and the amount was extremely small. How could Long Fei transform into ancient dragons? They didn't understand. Han Ba also shivered slightly, his brows knitted slightly. Ancient dragons? Interesting. Since the dragon blood can help me recover a lot of my profound qi, I will swallow you up. Crimson Flame Berserk. Buzz. Han Ba's body moved, and a huge storm came crashing over. This was the power of a disaster. Flame disaster. Yang Huang Ancestor warned, Brat, you can't hold on. 14th Dragon Ancestor also shouted, Boss, dodge this move. Han Ba, the god of calamity. His greatest strength was the power of disaster. Just as he had said, he could even burn the sky. This was his power. The power of the heavenly dragon divine transformation art was much stronger than the turn Yang Long into God. He had imagined that the power of the heavenly dragon would definitely be able to block Han Ba. The heavenly dragon transformation art was Long Fei's strongest technique. He was also his strongest trump card. If even the heavenly dragon transformation art could not resist him, then he really would not be able to kill Han Ba. This was the only thing he could think of to deal with Han Ba. Boom. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The scarlet flame vicious bear's power collided with the incomparably huge sky dragon. Explosions continued to ring through the void. The entire God Emperor Fairyland was shaking, it was extremely unstable, and could not withstand the impact of this kind of power. The surroundings were collapsing bit by bit, this secret world. It was on the verge of rupturing, and at the same time, a pair of dark green eyes shone in the void. Domain Beast. Domain Beastess that devour dimensions. Long Fei had felt the existence of Domain Beast in the Deathland. Who would have thought? Once again, he saw the incomparably terrifying Domain Beast. It only appeared for one reason, to swallow the God Emperor Fairyland. Boom. The ancient dragons was knocked away, its gigantic body dropped from the sky and hit the ground, spitting out blood essence again and again. It was extremely uncomfortable. All the dragon scales on its body looked like they were about to split open, the dragon's body was dripping with blood. Han Ba's eyes darkened, he had only taken half a step back. But this half step was an insult to him. Humph. Ancient dragons? It's just a little bug. If you dare to challenge me and fight with me, I'll let you know my strength. Han Ba was enraged, and completely ignored the Domain Beast which was slowly devouring in the air. Instead, it instantly rose into the air and heavily smashed down towards the ancient giant dragon that was on the ground. Not a match. Even if he was a ancient dragons, he still wouldn't be Han Ba's match. Moreover, not only was he not a match for Han Ba, in front of Han Ba, the ancient dragons had no power to retaliate. Too powerful. Han Ba was simply too strong. Long Fei's strongest move was not his opponent. He could not think of any other way to go against Han Ba. Watching Han Ba smashing down with the power of the scarlet flame, Long Fei felt extremely unresigned in his heart, and extremely dissatisfied. He roared. He released all the defenses he had in his body. Han Ba sneered, "Fight against me? You. It's simply not qualified." As soon as his voice faded, an extremely powerful force rolled down and struck the dragon head from above. Crack. Sky Dragon's defense simply could not defend against it. Han Ba stuck his hand to the dragon's head, and a powerful force immediately followed. "I'm going to beat you back to your original body." Boom. In Han Ba's eyes, the ancient dragons was just a little bug. He had only recovered a tiny bit of his cultivation. If it was the Han Ba at his peak, or idea at his peak, he could already make the ancient dragons kneel on the ground and not be able to move. Bang, bang, bang. The ancient dragon's body was continuously smashed until it bounced off, and the entire God Emperor Fairyland was deathly still. Moreover, every time Sky Dragon's body bounced back, the area around him shrank. In just a few seconds, Sky Dragon's body reverted back to its original form, returning back to Long Fei's appearance. He fell into the deep pit not too far away from the magic stone, with black blood flowing out of the corner of his mouth. Ding. System notification. Player's health point is too low, please supplement. Ding. System notification. Player's health point is too low, please supplement. Ding. System notification. Player's health point is too low, please supplement. The system's alarm sounded. Long Fei's health point was dropping. He had been completely massacred, and even his strongest heavenly dragon transformation skill was useless. Is there any other way? Is there any other way? There must be a way, I haven't thought of it yet, there must be. Long Fei laid in a pool of blood, his entire body was in incomparable pain, but he did not give up, and even if Han Ba could kill him in one move right now, he did not give up. There must be a way. What was it? Where did he miss it? Long Fei's mind kept on thinking. At this time, within the call system, "Master, let me go. Master, let me go as well." Galen and Nox began their battle. However, Long Fei did not agree. The two of them were not Han Ba's match, so if they died, the two of them would be like him, and would disappear forever. The giant demon also loudly said, "Boss, let me out." "Me too." Lei Mo, the earth demon, was also asking for a fight. They couldn't even deal with the powerhouse of the flying fairyland, so how could they be a match for Han Ba? A golden purple boss. Want to kill him? It was too difficult. The more it was at this time, the calmer Long Fei became. Han Ba walked over step by step, his eyes were filled with contempt and cold. It's already not bad for a low-realm warrior to be able to do such a thing. You should feel honored, because you are the first person I killed on this trash plane. You should be glad. Han Ba grew closer and closer. At the same time, the magic stone not far from Long Fei began to shine. Long Fei was startled. I got it. Bedevilment. Chapter 10:10 The Strongest Strike, Instant Death. Chapter 10:10 The Strongest Strike, Instant Death. A flicker of light came from the magic stone, causing Long Fei's heart to tighten. What is a magic stone? The location of the weapon that was used to suppress Han Ba. If the God Emperor Fairyland was a seal Han Ba's array, then the magic stone was the core of the array and also the strongest power. As long as it could use all of its strength, it would definitely be able to defeat Han Ba. One thing goes down, one thing goes down. Everything in the world was the same. Han Ba was also a great furnace in the world, so there was power that he was afraid of. Bedevilment. Buzz. Long Fei's health point was already too low, to the point where he couldn't even withstand a single bit of Han Ba's pressure. Her hair was blood red. The demonic flame burned. The black bones on his body pierced through his body one by one. The sky demon's appearance had changed completely, becoming incomparably ugly. This was the side effect of cultivating the god's bone taboo, but, for the sake of strength, even if he turned into a monster, so what? In that instant, 1,000 points disappeared as Long Fei transformed into the sky demon. At this moment, Long Fei roared as his scarlet devil flames burned crazily. God's bone taboo, level 8, open for me. Ah! The bones in his body thickened, and the energy stirring within his body seemed to want to break through the god's devil body. It was extremely powerful, incomparably powerful. God's bone taboo, 8th floor. Unleashing his strength. On the god's devil body's back, bones were frantically condensing, and fresh blood madly flowed out. A few seconds later, the black bones were condensed together, forming a pair of huge wings, a blackbone wings. With the demonic flame. With the aura of death. It also carried that kind of terrifying power of taboos. It was as if Lucifer's wings. Han Ba was slightly stunned as he stared at the blackbone wings on Long Fei's back and muttered, "This power." They seemed to have met somewhere before. They had been separated for such a long time. He couldn't remember where they had met, but, "You little trash sure have a lot of tricks on your body. You've transformed into a dragon and a god, and now you've become a demon, so what's the use of creating such a thing? I told you before, you were going to be the first person I killed after the breaking through the seal, so you should be glad." No matter what Long Fei transformed into, Han Ba would not put him in his eyes. Because disdain. Long Fei simply didn't have the qualifications. He also did not place the god's martial continent in his eyes at all. After he kills Long Fei, he will make the god's martial continent a dead world. 8 layers of the forbidden area, blackbone wings. Long Fei's body faintly sank, revealing sharp teeth. He grinned excitedly. The one feeling lucky should be you, because this is the first time I used my devil body to kill someone since I entered the immortal domain. You're the first. Indeed. After Long Fei entered the immortal domain, he did not use his heavenly demon body to kill people. However, Long Fei's real face became stronger, and his heavenly demon body also became stronger. Training the power of God's bone taboo time and time again, assaulting higher levels time and time again, causing God's devil body to become incomparably strong. The reason why Long Fei did not use the God's devil body was not because he was weak, but because this was his last line of defense. Moreover, this was the size that the magic stone gave him. After Long Fei transformed into the sky demon, he felt that the faintly moving energy in his body and a type of energy from the magic stone were linked together, perfectly blending together. He was like a family member whom he had not seen for a long time. Was it the power of a heavenly demon? Or was it the power of the god's bone taboo? What exactly is a magic stone? What power was hidden inside him? This fusion was simply too perfect. Unbelievable. Long Fei didn't have the time to think about it, he didn't have the time. It was already dawn. In other words, after 3 days, the attacks from the monsters in God Emperor City had begun. If they couldn't kill Han Ba now and rush out of God Emperor Fairyland, then the God Emperor City would definitely fall apart. He, 8 King Kong and the 40-odd people around him would all be killed. Ah! Long Fei roared as the idea entered the magic stone's body from the crack and said, I don't care what kind of power you are, and I don't care how you and the power of the god's bone taboo fused so perfectly with everything. Since you are suppressing Han Ba, then please release your strongest power. Fine. I beg you. Word for word. With a hum from the magic stone, a silver-green light suddenly burst out. At this moment, the power inside the sky demon's body also started to move restlessly as it erupted with power. The Blood Eye stared at Han Ba and said, Come, I will definitely overturn you. Han Ba's gaze tensed up. At this time, even if he was any calmer, he would still be unable to endure it a little. The reason was that the power that erupted from the magic stone was much stronger than the power that suppressed him back then. Han Ba was still disdainful. I don't believe that you can control the power of the magic stone, even I can't control the power of the god's steel stone, you. That's impossible. The magic stone is called the god's steel stone. It was the same power as the heavenly bone. Their powers all belonged to the heavens. Who cares about the god's steel stone and the earth tablet stone? Long Fei didn't care what Han Ba said. Breaking through the void. Too fast. The energy of the god's bone taboo and the energy of the god's steel stone fused together and crazily surged within Long Fei's body. Han Ba was startled. At first, Long Fei couldn't see his movement trajectory, but now, he couldn't see Long Fei's movement trajectory. Both of his eyes became especially gloomy as he howled out in a deep voice, burning heaven's scarlet flame, no matter what kind of power you have, you all deserve to die from anger. Buzz. The void was burning. It was as if the sky was burning. The entire God Emperor Fairyland was on fire, causing the tiger-eyed domain beast to become excited, as it continued to frantically devour everything in the secret world. The strongest technique. Long Fei didn't have any more time. If he did not kill Han Ba now, he would die here. The God Emperor City would also bleed like a river. Monster siege could not be stopped. There was still the army of 1,000,000 magic tribe left, at that time. It was difficult for Nantian region to avoid a crack. I'm going all out. Long Fei's heart sank. Even if I have to die, I have to charge out. There was no choice. Long Fei didn't have the slightest bit of choice. At this moment, Long Fei roared again, God's bone taboo, 9th floor, open for me. Buzz. Long Fei's back suddenly grew another 4 wings. His body seemed to have become a skeleton, as if he was a dried corpse that had been sucked dry. 6 wings. Black Angel. Long Fei spat out a mouthful of black blood. The power inside his body was about to burst out of his body, just a little more. Is the opening of the 10th level of the power of taboos. It was also at this moment. Long Fei moved and immediately lifted the incomparably huge stone tablet in the deep pit. In the blink of an eye, Long Fei held onto the god's steel stone with both hands, and with a shift of his 6 wings, the god's bone taboo and the strongest power of the god's steel stone exploded forth. He slashed at the top of Han Ba's head heavily, and roared out. Han Ba glared at him furiously. He couldn't react at all. The god's steel stone descended, and the long gash on the top of his head dropped to the bottom. Instant kill. The system beeped. Ding. Chapter 1011 Level 10 War Pet. Chapter 1011 Level 10 War Pet. Long Fei moved his body and immediately said, Release your striking energy value. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei 4 killing Han Ba 4 gaining 2.3 billion experience, obtaining 1,000,000 power of celestial and 10 energy values. Congratulations to player Long Fei 4 obtaining the war pet Han Ba. The system beep ended here. Long Fei waited for a moment, both his eyes were in a daze. Damn, system, are you playing with me? The ultimate boss of the God Emperor Fairyland, and even that super powerhouse of some other high-level plane, you actually dropped a war pet for me? Come out. System, damn you, get out here right now, I promise I won't beat you to death. Is there such a thing? Are there any laws? Is there any justice? Is there anyone in charge here? Damn you. Long Fei's heart was filled with pain. From the time he had teleported to now, from the first time he had triggered striking energy value, every time he went berserk, he would have more things dropped. A purple gold boss can only drop one war pet. This was asking for Long Fei's life. He desperately tried to kill her, but in the end. But this kind of outcome, Long Fei even had the heart to die. This is too darned. Although he was complaining, he still had to face the reality. Long Fei opened the war pet system, and the idea said, activating Han Bai's war pet, I want to see how powerful this war pet is. I, your father, will throw it away and let it out for you to kill again. Han Bai's war pet was activated. War pet, Han Bai level, 10,000 divine powers, the power of drought, burning heaven with scarlet flames. Combat power, 100 stars, full, loyalty, 0,00001, extremely unstable, extremely high risk of betrayal, performance, 0,00001, suppressing for billions of years, recovering cultivation. Only then will you be able to unleash even more power. Description: Han Bai is the super powerhouse, the seal is here. Description 2, level 10,000 Han Bai, use 1/10,000th of your strength, under the influence of your loyalty, you won't be able to fully display your strength. Description 3, during the usage, you must be careful because the loyalty level is too low. The chance of betrayal is 99%. The higher the loyalty level, the more likely it is to not betray. Looking at the war pet's attributes, Long Fei instantly became excited again. Seeing Han Bai's level, his blood started to boil. F***CK, level 10,000, this is heaven-defying. Isn't this too awesome? Long Fei was a little unable to control himself. He started mumbling incoherently. War pet. Under normal circumstances, the level 0 drop would be slowly cultivating from level 0, but this Han Bai had directly leveled up to level 10,000, his ferocity was a complete mess. What did level 10,000 mean? It was probably the strongest level. If this wasn't going to be heaven-defying, then what was? When he saw the degree of loyalty and ability to display, Long Fei was not worried at all. The idea moved and entered the war pet space. Looking at Han Bai who was lying down quietly, he smiled. Follow me, I guarantee that I will make you feel good, I promise that I will be able to give you everything you want, and guarantee that I will be able to bring you back to your original world. As soon as he finished speaking, Han Bai's eyes stared wide, and shouted, with just you. You think you're qualified for me to be your little brother? Humph. Stop dreaming, brat. Long Fei also had a bad temper, and said, Han Bai, in my war pet space, you are still cocky with me? Do you believe that I will directly kill you? Ah! I shall see if I am worthy enough. This was his territory. If he couldn't even decide on his own territory, then what was the point of doing so? Long Fei was extremely unhappy and said, either you listen to me obediently, I will make you feel good and fly away, or you are slowly decaying in my war pet space, even if I have to die, I will not summon you out. Rebel? That would mean summoning Han Bai. Only then would he have the chance to betray her. I'm just not giving you any chance to fight, let's see how you turn traitor. You still can't control your own war pet? Han Bai was even more unhappy. With flames burning in his eyes, he stared at Long Fei and said solemnly, Brat, don't be too presumptuous. Heh. Sorry, this is how I am. Come out and bite me. If I can beat you once, I can do it again. Do you believe me? Long Fei's face was full of satisfaction. The power of that one move just now was just too powerful. Of course. He had also paid the price with great pain. His body felt as if it had been sucked dry. 6 winged black bones sprouted from his back, and he was in incomparable pain. The energy in his body grew stronger and stronger. As long as he opened the 10th layer of the god's bone taboo, that energy would break through his shackles. Is he him? I really wonder, what is the strongest power of the god's bone taboo? Would it be possessed by that power? Long Fei was a little worried. Other than that, The reason why Long Fei was able to kill it in one shot was not only because of the power of the god's bone taboo, but also because of the power of the god's steel stone. Otherwise, 100,000 Long Fei's would not be his match. Han Ba was so angry that his entire body was trembling. He really wanted to rush out and crush Long Fei. However, it was not possible. He was now Long Fei's war pet, and without Long Fei's summoning, he simply could not leave, and would have been completely controlled by Long Fei. Long Fei grinned and laughed excitedly. "You sure are cocky, keep showing off to this daddy. Han Ba, don't you know how to act cocky? Aren't you the super powerhouse of divinity? Come, let your father have a look." Han Ba was so angry that he wanted to vomit blood. When was he humiliated like this? Who would dare to speak to him like that? "I'm so unhappy." But there was nothing he could do. Long Fei said, "Come follow me honestly, I guarantee that you'll live a good life, but if you like to cause trouble, hey, then I will have you be trapped in my war pet space forever, and spend even longer there than my god Emperor Fairyland." Han Ba glared at Long Fei with the eyes of death. Long Fei completely ignored him and said, "Think about it carefully for yourself." Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for completing the SS level quest Open God Emperor Fairyland. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining level +1, all skills +1, power of celestial value +1 million, points +100,000, and the special strength reward. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining special power, God's Steel Stone, power of Heavenly Scourge. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for clearing God Emperor Fairyland and obtaining God Emperor Fairyland's secret. God Emperor Fairyland, a mysterious passage that connects to the Outer Space Palace. Outer Space Palace, a ship that transports to another region. You can gain control of the ship by occupying the Outer Space Palace. This was the secret of the God Emperor Fairyland. Outer Space Palace had been around since the day God's Martial Continent was born. It was just that. After the changes in the God's Martial Continent, the movement of its shell, and the appearance of the dragon race after they suffered their first tribulation in the God's Martial Continent, the Outer Space Palace appeared. After the first tribulation in the Long family, the Outer Space Palace appeared again, floating in the sky and absorbing the rich holy source of the God's Martial Continent as its energy source. Damn. God's Martial Continent really has a lot of secrets. Outer Space Palace, Skyship? This is bad. Long Fei's mind tensed up. He thought of an important thing. The monster's siege had already begun. Chapter 10-12, 4 Boss. Chapter 10-12, 4 Boss beneath the God Emperor City. They were all densely packed with demon beast, and all the demon beast in the 10 great mountains had gathered in one place. The level 9 demon beast was as big as a mountain. With a roar, the earth trembled. The entire God Emperor City was trembling. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The rumbling continued, and the demon beast started to attack. The monster army that covered the sky was extremely fierce. Its footsteps shook the sky, unrestrainedly rushing towards God Emperor City. The city was in a state of panic. At first, they thought it was the Magic Tribe's army, but they were not worried, because this was Palace question of God's test for Long Fei. They believed that Long Fei would definitely withstand it, but now. However, it was a huge group of demon beast. There were countless of them, so it was impossible to estimate that they had never seen something like this before. Many warriors were scared to the point that their legs became weak. Seeing the large group of demon beast rush towards them was like the end of the world. However, these demon beast were still only the demon beast in the mountains. It was also just an ordinary demon beast. After 3 consecutive days of roaring in the sky and not coming out from the depths of the earth, if the supermonster who was roaring in the depths of the earth had still not come out, then they would probably be even more terrifying. In the palace. Your Majesty, the monster army has already launched an attack. Our guards. Your Majesty, we need to contact the palace question of God as soon as possible. It is impossible for us to withstand the pressure with our own strength. A martial general's forehead was covered in cold sweat. He had just descended from the city walls and his tens of thousands of guards could not withstand the pressure from the demon beast. Some of them were even crushed before the monster army could even get close to them. Never met. Never. This was the first time in God's martial continent. Monster siege. The guards were defeated and the inside of the God Emperor city was in a state of chaos. The ones who fled, the ones who killed, the ones who set fires, all became Sin City. The situation became more and more uncontrollable, let alone organizing an effective defense. Great Elder Jiyu Tongtian summoned all the Fairy Hall Elders back to the Hall of Immortals. Without the Fairy Hall Elder, no one can enter the Hall of Immortals. What should we do? What should we do? Anxious discussions filled the main hall of the Imperial Palace. There was nothing they could do. At this time, they could only place their trust in their god, the powerhouse of the Palace Question of God. However, Outer Space Palace Question of God. Jiyu Tongtian's brows slightly tightened as he muttered, all the demon beasts in the 10 great mountain ranges have gathered at the God Emperor city. Why is this so? This was the first time he encountered such a thing. He didn't understand. One of the elders said, Grand Clan Elder, the demon beast have already launched an attack. If we do not take action, the God Emperor city will definitely become a wasteland. At that time, I am afraid that people will resent our Palace Question of God. As the cow wielder of the immortal domain, they had to protect the immortal domain. However, Jiyu Tongtian smiled slightly and said, there are too many ants dying, and it is only an ant. Their death doesn't have anything to do with us. I really want to know the purpose of these demon beasts attacking the city. The faces of the few elders turned grim. The other elders all laughed out loud. I agree with Great Master, they are just mortals. The deaths of mortals have nothing to do with us. These demon beasts have a goal in attacking the city. What is their goal? I want to know too. An elder said, Grand Clan Elder, why not add a little more difficulty to the Supreme God's trial? Jiyu Tongtian's intention was very clear, it was to make things difficult for Long Fei, so that he would not enter the Palace Question of God, and become a Supreme God. If that was the case, of course, it would be harder and harder to crush him. Heh! Jiyu Tongtian was startled, his mouth curved up as he sneered, Long Fei, don't you like to hide? Then let's see how long you can hide. Someone, come. The Star Spirit Messenger descended. Jiyu Tongtian said, pass down the order for me. The demon beast invading the city is also a test for the Supreme God, for him to be able to resist it no matter what, only he can. Would he like to be a hero? Then let him be enough today. Long Fei. Let's see how long you can hold on for. Will you be able to withstand the monster army? The million-strong army of the magic tribe is already in place. Can you block it? If you can't resist it, you must go find the dragon tail tomb, right? Ha ha ha. Jiyu Tongtian will not let Long Fei die. However, he had to give Long Fei a crushing defeat. He was forced to look for the dragon tail tomb to speed up the process. Demon Beast's attack would be unstoppable. Long Fei was definitely not able to hold it off either. The people in the God Emperor city would definitely be killed or injured, and would only give him anger, killing intent, and hatred. These were what Jiyu Tongtian wanted. He wanted to force Long Fei into a corner. Only in this way would he be filled with hatred. Hatred was the strongest motivation in this world. It can make a man fight desperately. Jiyu Tongtian believed that Long Fei would definitely be able to find the dragon tail tomb. A few minutes later, dozens of Star Spirit Messenger flew out. When the people of the God Emperor city thought that the Hall of Immortals had sent out reinforcements, a voice came out from the sky. Long Fei, the invasion of the demon beast is also a part of the Supreme God's test. You must withstand it or else you do not have the qualifications to become the Supreme God. With that, he disappeared. No one wanted to resist the monster army at all. Everyone in the God Emperor city was stunned. At this point of time, what Supreme God test? They did not take them seriously at all, it was just that they understood it a little too late. However, there were also people who placed their hopes on Long Fei. Long Fei, where are you? Save us. Save the God Emperor city. He hasn't seen Long Fei for 3 days, he must have escaped. He's a despicable and shameless person. If you hadn't killed the Supreme God, why would so many things have happened? It's all because of you, you arrogant and selfish person. You piece of trash from the Nantian region. Go and die. Long Fei, I hate you. Long Fei, I won't forgive you even if I become a ghost. Some people were looking forward to Long Fei's appearance. Some even started to curse loudly in despair, blaming everything on Long Fei. People are like that. When it was clear that he was in dire straits, he would always blame it on others. God's Phoenix Pavilion. Qiu Wandao said slightly, "Is everyone ready?" In the courtyard, about 100 people had gathered. This was their current number. These 100+ people included the elders of the drug race. Everyone nodded their heads. "Yes, we are ready," Qiu Wandao said. "Long Fei has yet to come out. We have to hold on to our monster army. We have to hold on." Fat Man Chen suddenly roared out, "For boss." Dao Ba immediately followed and shouted, "For boss." The noise in the yard was deafening, shouting in unison, "For the boss. Kill." Chapter 1014, Crushing Monster Army. Chapter 1014, Crushing Monster Army. The opening of the Boundary S had cut off their retreat. However, the people in the Imperial Palace had never imagined that from the moment they rushed out of the city gates, they had never thought of coming back alive. Fight. For Long Fei. For their boss. They remembered what Long Fei had said 3 days ago. No matter what, they would risk their lives to buy time for Long Fei and block the monster army. In the distance, on a hillside, an old man wearing a black cloak stood beside Ju Lai and asked, "Young master, do you want me to break that formation?" Behind Ju Lai, there was a huge valley filled with the million lions of the magic tribe. Extremely mighty. Ju Lai laughed coldly, raised his right hand and said, "No need, we have to play the game slowly. Long Fei is not even here yet. The good show is yet to come, do not be anxious." The old man nodded. Yes. Ju Lai was initially worried that the demon beast would attack them, but he overthought things. Even if those incomparably ferocious demon beast passed by them, it was as if they did not see them, as they would not move at all. Obviously, their only goal was to destroy the God Emperor city. If that was the case, then why would Ju Lai do it himself? How great would it be to have these demon beasts as cannon fodder? However, Ju Lai's brows tightened, and said lightly, "How is the task I asked you to do going?" "Young master, rest assured, this old servant has completed everything. I will definitely not let any accident happen to Song Qianqian," the old man in black said. Ju Lai laughed proudly, "Good good." And then, a playful and cold smile appeared in his eyes, as he thought to himself, "Long Fei, I'll see how you're going to escape this time, snatching women from me. I'll let you know my methods, ha ha ha." Palace Question of God. A star spirit messenger reported, Qiu Wandao, Zong Tianai, and his brothers have already left the city to defend against the monster army. In addition, the million-strong army of the magic tribe has already assembled in the East Cliff Valley. They should be having the monster army attack the city gates, then launching a fatal blow. There was a flurry of discussion within the audience hall. Jiyu Tongtian asked, "Where's Long Fei?" Star Spirit Messenger replied, "It hasn't appeared yet." Jiyu Tongtian secretly frowned. Where did you hide? He didn't care about anything else, it was just Long Fei. Long Fei's disappearance caused him to panic in his heart. Jiyu Tongtian said slightly, "Don't worry about it for now, let Long Fei and his brothers be crushed by the demon beasts." "Long Fei, you think you can fight with me? If you listen to me, then anything will be fine. If you don't, then... Humph, let's see who can beat who." Jiyu Tongtian was unhappy, but he believed that Long Fei would definitely appear. Beneath the God Emperor city. Fat Men Chen Holy Armor Fairy Vein became incomparably huge, charging out like a giant. It was a defense, but also an attack. The first 4 levels were instantly overturned. With him as a blade, more than 100 people stabbed into the heart of Monster Army. They were also instantly surrounded by the Monster Army. Buzz buzz, Qiu Wandao's hair flew in the air, the clothes on his body released a cracking sound, and the cultivation of a first-stage Yuanxian exploded out. The sword in his hand moved, primordial sword technique. 10,000 swords kill heart, whoosh whoosh whoosh. Asterisk the sword moved, forming tens of thousands of sword images that shot out like crazy. 1, 2, 10. 107. Ha ha ha. Junior brother, I already have 107. Qiu Wandao laughed out wildly, his figure flickered, and in the instant he landed he slashed out again and again. Every time he killed a demon beast, he read out a number. Zong Tianai was also unwilling to be outdone, as powerful energy continuously erupted from his body. Those 4th or 5th level demon beast could not withstand their attacks at all. Suzaku. Ling Long flew up, and a gigantic image of a vermilion bird appeared on her body. She channeled her energy, and with a cry, the sound wave was like lightning, striking all the way up. Boom, boom, boom. Ling Long's body moved again as she floated in the air. Her rainbow feathers trembled as she said, "Vermilion bird needle." Shua. With a flap of its wings, the feather turned into an incomparably sharp needle and pierced downwards. A large group of demon beast fell and were instantly killed. The power of vein of ancient rosefinch was extremely terrifying. With these 2 slashes, the number of demon beast she had killed reached its highest point. Dao Feng moved. His figure disappeared, and in that instant, the head of a small leading demon beast broke apart, and fresh blood spurted out. Dao Feng slightly smiled, and said, "Is the commander rank equal to 104 rating monster and beasts?" Abnormal. You wish. Aoya changed into the origin plan set, held on to revenge, and rushed into the most concentrated place in Monster Army. With a move of the idea, the sword intent started to burst out crazily, and 3 sword spirits attacked at the same time. Myriad slashes, whoosh whoosh whoosh, asterisk a ball of fire danced wildly. The 3 sword spirits danced at the same time. The scene was extremely shocking. Every time they twisted, a demon beast would fall, with unstoppable momentum. Rumble. A huge long-handled falchion slashed down from the sky, the ground cracked, and all the demon beast that the sword chi touched were sliced into 2. A single slash descended. The black knife moved, dragging its long blade like it was flying sand, suddenly leaping. Buzz. Divine Emperor Saber Technique. Boom. A loud sound resounded in the air as an incomparably arrogant power was released. With a slash, the body of a level 8 demon beast was sliced into 2, killing it instantly. The black knife descended from the sky and said, "A level 8 demon beast is at least equivalent to 104 rating monster and beasts, right? F***CK. They're all freaks. Is he still human? Too arrogant." It was at this moment. The surrounding demon beast that were rushing over suddenly started to kill each other, with hundreds of them attacking each other. In the air, there was a special smell, an illusion. Man Tualuo smiled slightly, and said, "Now, it's my turn to be first, right?" All of them were extremely powerful. Extreme arrogance. The arrogance and tyrannical personality of Long Fei influenced them. If they did not accept it, they would do it. The 100-odd people managed to block hundreds of thousands of monster army, and those demon beasts showed signs of coming together. Level 4, 5, 6, or even 7, these demon beasts did not have much strength left. 3 years' time. They had become far too powerful. However, the demon beasts that were level 4 to 8 were only cannon fodder. The truly terrifying demon beasts had yet to come out. Fat Men Chen bellowed, "Is that all you have?" It was at this moment. Yuna, who was on top of the wall, suddenly shouted, "Brother Fatty, be careful. At your feet." Chapter 10:15, Collapse. Chapter 10:15, Collapse. Fatty and the others were really strong. However, Monster Army was not only a group of demon beast from the various large mountain ranges of God's martial continent, there were also some demon beast that he had never seen before. As Yuna's voice fell. Rumble. There was a loud noise from the ground, and a huge mouth made of gears appeared, locking onto Fatty and swallowing him up. Everyone was shocked. What kind of demon beast is this? Fatty, be careful. Fat bro. What came out from the ground was not an ordinary demon beast, but a type of mutated land beast. It was summoned by some sort of power, so it had to devour everything in this place. Ling Long moved, preparing to howl and blast the mutated land beast away. But right at this moment, Yuna's face was pale as she shouted, "Big sister Ling Long, be careful." Shua. The void shattered, and an enormous iron-armored griffin rushed out, its sharp beak aimed at the back of the vermilion bird with a fierce peck. Ling-long. Boom. Boom. Soon after, the sound of cracks in the ground came one after another as a series of powerful and mutated attacks came one after another. This kind of power from Demon Beast had never appeared before. They were all mutated Demon Beast. They were hiding deep underground in the void. This time, they were summoned by some kind of power and appeared in God Emperor City at the same time, to grind God Emperor City into powder. Poochie. Ling-long spat out a mouthful of blood as her body sank down from the air. And then, more than a dozen iron-armored griffins rushed out from the void, crazily dashing towards Ling-long. The mutated earth demon also came out from the ground and started to madly crush Qiu Wandao and the elderly in green. Half a minute ago, they could crush Monster Army, but they could not. Right now, they were completely crushed by the Demon Beast. These mutated Demon Beast were just too strong, and their numbers were just too small. Bam! Man Tuoluo's body sunk, he spat out a mouthful of black blood, looked at a spot, and shouted, "Everyone stop breathing, even the Demon Beastess would need a poison master, his cultivation is even higher than mine." Bang! Xiao Ying was thrown back by a powerful force. The encirclement shrank again. He couldn't hold on any longer. These mutated Demon Beast were too sudden, the strength of their bodies were too strange. Ha ha ha! You're overestimating yourself. You're about to die. Serves you right. Exactly. Long Fei abandoned them, and even foolishly worked for Long Fei. What a group of idiots. Looking at their miserable appearances, they are about to die. Ha ha ha. Many people in the city were laughing at them. Seeing them being crushed, those people in the city mocked them even more. The imperial palace was filled with laughter. No one sighed, sympathizing with them. They were all fools who had sent Fu Shishan to his death. I never thought that Fu Shishan was protecting the God Emperor City, not even a little bit. Rumble. The ground sank, and an extremely ferocious beast drilled out from the depths of the earth. Its entire body was exuding a hellish death aura, and its body was huge. It then turned into the ground, and suddenly shot out, with a gloomy voice, "All of you must die." Boom, boom, boom. Qiu Wandao, elderly in green, and Zong Tianai were knocked away by the hell beast and were forced to retreat while spitting out blood. The three of them were extremely pale. Looking at the gigantic sinister demon beast in the sky, whose cultivation base was at least at the peak realm of the Unity Immortal, it was impossible for them to withstand such an impact. Monster Army was just cannon fodder. These mutated beasts were the main focus. Qiu Wandao crawled up from the ground, gritting his teeth so hard that they creaked loudly. He yelled, "For Yong Master Long, kill." They had to buy time for Long Fei. He had to. Qiu Wandao once again rushed forward without caring about anything else. It was the same for the elderly in green and Zong Tianai. Even if they were to be crushed, they wouldn't even think of retreating. Fat Men Chen was tightly bitten by the mutated earth demon. He was struggling to hold on, looking at his throat that was like an abyss. Fat Men Chen threw caution to the wind and roared loudly, "I'll fight it out with you." As soon as he finished speaking, he immediately jumped in. Palace question of God. These people are going to collapse soon. The strength of these mutated beasts are too strong. I never thought that God's martial continent would have such a beast. So what if he's dead? If he's dead, that's fine too. Ha ha ha. Jiyu Tongtian secretly sealed the space between his brows. He still could not detect Long Fei's aura. You didn't really escape, did you? That was what he was worried about. Boom, boom. One by one, they were crushed to the ground. One by one, they were crushed to the point where they could no longer stand. Blood gushed out from their wounds. Those elders of the drug race. A disciple of the logistics department. Blade technique, Han Shueji. Each and every one of them had been knocked down. They really couldn't hold on any longer. Long Fei was not present. Their hearts had lost their backbone, and their battle strength had been reduced by half. He felt hatred in his heart as well. Why couldn't he become stronger? Why can't I help Long Fei share a little more? Why? Suddenly, Xiao Ying fell apart, paralyzed on the ground. he shouted towards the sky hysterically, "Long Fei, where are you? Save us." Linglong also collapsed and shouted loudly, "Senior brother Long Fei, where are you? Save us." One by one, they all collapsed. Their hearts couldn't bear it. It wasn't because he was injured, but because he saw the people beside him fall down one after another. This feeling was too painful. On the city wall, she cried as she said, "Big brother Long Fei, where are you? Come quickly, come back quickly. Sister Qian Qian and the others can't take it any longer, come back quickly." It collapsed. At the same time, Monster Army was still crazily rushing over. A mutated demon beast deep underground. The number of mutated beasts that were rushing out of the void was still increasing. In the face of such a powerful monster army, not to mention 100 people, even an army of 1,000,000 could not withstand it. Suddenly, buzz! A loud sound echoed in the air above God Emperor City. Just when they thought that the demon beast had entered the God Emperor City again, a figure rushed out from the city. Only after realizing that it was a shadow did their heartaches loosen. Shua. Twice he walked through the air and landed on top of the city wall. When Yuna saw the figure, her tears glimmered as she said, "Big brother Long Fei, you're finally here." Long Fei rushed over, looking at everything that happened outside the God Emperor City, seeing his own brother being crushed by the demon beast on the ground, seeing the woman bleeding, then looking at the mocking laughter in the city. Long Fei was angry. Chapter 1016 Arrival. Chapter 1016 Arrival. Long Fei thought that it would be difficult for the monsters to attack the city. However, he never thought that the people from the God Emperor City would be so cold and detached. Other than him, no one else could help. Is this the human heart? Is this reality? Long Fei's heart ached as he looked at the carefree people in the city who were watching them play and ridicule them. At this moment, Long Fei laughed bitterly, "Since it's like this. You like to watch jokes, right? Then Lousy will let you all have a good laugh." Buzz. As his voice fell, Long Fei placed his palm on the boundary, and roared out in a low voice, "All of you should be afraid together. Boundary, break." A strong power started to surge, and on the center of his palm, a gold light flashed, directly shaking boundary to the point of cracking, starting to peel off piece by piece. The cracks quickly spread like a spiderweb, and within half a second, the boundary above the city wall was covered with dense cracks. Array boundary. As long as you are strong enough and are able to absolutely crush it, your strength will be able to shatter it. Long Fei turned his head to look at the astonished faces of the people in the city. Let's sink into fear, ha ha ha. Was Long Fei a good person? No. He had never considered himself a good man. The monsters attacked the city, they attacked the God Emperor City, but the God Emperor Academy did not send anyone out. This made Long Fei very sad. From this moment onwards, no matter how many people he killed, it would have nothing to do with him. From this moment onwards, Long Fei would only defend against the monster siege, and he would not care about the other magic tribe army that was watching him like a tiger. To be exact, he would not care whether the God Emperor City was dead or alive. If you are heartless, then I am unrighteous as well. This was Long Fei. If you displeased me, then I will make you even more displeased. Rumble. With a loud bang, the entire city protecting boundary collapsed. In the middle of the imperial palace of the Divine Emperor, the dozen or so Grand Masters were simultaneously sent flying. The formation was completely shattered. The formation is broken. Oh my God. Why? It's Long Fei who broke boundary. It's him. This damned bastard, what is he trying to do? What does it have to do with us that his people like to die? Is he crazy to destroy boundary? God Emperor City will be stomped into ruins. Panic. Extremely terrified. At the same time, confusion appeared once again within the God Emperor City. This was because they had lost the protection of their formations. Outside the city, the roars of the demon beast could not bear it anymore. Everyone hated Long Fei. It was Long Fei that caused them to fall into despair. This was also what Long Fei wanted to do. Since you've made me unhappy, then don't even think about enjoying yourself. Within the imperial palace, a deathly silence followed. Those formation masters no longer had the strength to release the formation's power. Damn that Long Fei. The imperial palace was in chaos as well. As the fear spread, everything in God Emperor City became extremely chaotic. Is this great? The corners of Long Fei's eyes turned cold. He did not regret what he had done. He was not some noble saint, and if someone liked to see his brother make a joke of himself, then they would become a huge joke. On the city wall, Long Fei watched as Song Qianqian and the others were crushed to the ground, his heart sinking. He did not rush out, but instead shouted loudly, "I'm coming." What they needed now was confidence. Their confidence had been destroyed by the monster army. They needed to rebuild their confidence, and Long Fei was their confidence. In that instant, Man Tuoluo turned around and looked at the familiar figure on the city wall, then shouted loudly, "Long Fei is here." As soon as his voice faded, everyone turned to look. At this moment, Long Fei took out the king's transformation sets one by one, putting them on one by one. His entire body shone with a gold light, his aura spreading out. He was a Ji Zun from the heavens to the earth. Ha ha ha. Boss is mighty. The boss is domineering. Demon beast, tremble for me. Ha ha ha. Each and every one of them crawled up from the ground, as if they had been revived with a full body of blood. Long Fei gave them a strong confidence that Long Fei was their backbone. His battle intent was burning. Long Fei opened the sect system, the idea moved, and ordered, prompt for morale. Ding. Consume 100 immortal crystals to use. Use it. The 100 immortal crystals in Long Fei's space ring disappeared, and at the same time, all of the sect morale in God's martial sect rose. In the battlefield, morale was more important than strength. On the battlefield, what was needed was ferocity. At the same time, Long Fei moved and shouted, "Everyone, retreat back to the city." Heh! Everyone was taken aback. I don't understand. Long Fei is here, why should we leave? It should be a battle. Long Fei did not explain. This is an order. Song Qianqian and the rest did not hesitate, and immediately shouted, "Retreat." The 100-odd people quickly retreated, only the fat man Chen did not react. He was still swallowed by the demon beast, but he could not care so much at this time, and the fat man Chen had fixed a heaven-defying defense, so he would not die so easily. As they retreated, Long Fei said excitedly, "I want the enlargement stroke." Buzz. A holy artillery was released. Buzz. Another holy artillery was released. Buzz, buzz. 4 holy artillery came out one after another. It was placed in 4 different locations. The last time he killed Supreme God, he gave away more than 10,000 immortal crystals. Yang Huang Ancestor couldn't even finish all of them, and Long Fei had enough energy. The energy of the immortal crystals had been filled up. Long Fei watched as the demon beast rushed over and crazily chased after Song Qianqian and his group of 100-odd people. The entire God Emperor city felt an intense vibration. The people around the city walls ran backwards like the tide. They ran like hell, and the entire God Emperor city was in chaos. Long Fei did not care about the life and death of the God Emperor city at all now. He once naively thought that the warriors of the God Emperor city would help Song Qianqian fight the monster army together. However, all he saw was mockery and indifference. In that case, then why would he care about God Emperor city? If not for the monsters attacking the city and destroying the consequences of the God Emperor's failure, Long Fei would not have tried to defend himself. Looking at the panic in the city, Long Fei laughed out loud, "Is it good? Ha ha ha. Did you enjoy watching a show? Does it feel good to laugh at others? Ha ha ha." Long Fei was jealous of evil. At this time, Yuna reminded, "Big brother Long Fei, monster army is here." Long Fei smirked and said, "It's time to use your big move." Chapter 1017, Holy Equipment. Chapter 1017, Holy Equipment. Without any hesitation, Long Fei moved his body. At the same time, he controlled all 4 of the holy artillery, locking onto the place with the densest concentration of demon beast. Boom, 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 boom. 4 loud bangs shook the sky. The entire God Emperor city was trembling because of the power of the holy artillery. Everyone was dumbfounded. Moreover, the moment the holy artillery was released, the energy emitted from the 500 immortal crystals was incomparably huge, so much so that even the air could no longer withstand it. It was too violent. Saint artifact. What was a saint artifact? This was it. The cannonball exploded in the monster army, turning those mutated land beasts into ashes, all of them exploding like nuclear bombs. That kind of power was incomparable. No matter how strong one's physique was, they would not be able to withstand it. The 4-rating monster and beasts turned into powder and was killed instantly. The 5-level monster turned into powder and was killed instantly. Level 6, Level 7, and Level 8 demon beast were all instantly killed. The mutated demon beast at the very center of the artillery shell instantly turned into a pile of meat paste, and beast blood flew all over the sky. At this moment, Long Fei's system beep was even more powerful than the holy artillery, and the system notification sound rang crazily, ding, 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 ding. One after another, it was so deafening that it was impossible to tell what had come out. However, counting it briefly, this shot of Long Fei's was equivalent to 150 million experience point. How fierce was this? One shot, 150 million experience. 4 cannons, with 600 million experience points in experience point. How fierce was this? I just want to ask, fuck, who else is there? This was the best place for monsters to attack. Otherwise, it would be impossible for Long Fei to receive so much experience. Seeing his experience points soar to 3 billion once again, and that the reward for clearing the God Emperor Fairyland, level +1, had not been triggered yet, the corner of Long Fei's mouth curled up slightly in excitement. I'm going to fly again soon, ha ha ha. Immortal Foundation. The immortal foundation of the fitted realm. Without the fusion of the immortal foundation, he would not be able to level up. He needed the immortal foundation of the fitted realm. Buzz. System notification. The energy has been filled up. Buzz. System notification. The energy has been filled up. The system beep rang. Long Fei furiously roared again, and said, blast it for me. Boom, 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 boom. The simultaneous release of the 4 holy artillery S was equivalent to 2,000 immortal crystals exploding within the group of demon beast. The scene was simply too shocking, only leaving the demon beast screaming in pain, and the space around them turned quiet. Not a single sound could be heard from the city. They were stunned. The Divine Emperor's imperial family was shocked. God Emperor Academy was stunned. The Magic Tribe army in the valley was stunned. Even the high and mighty palace question of God was stunned. At this moment, Long Fei was the emperor. He was truly like an emperor. Who would have thought that Long Fei would be able to stand on the city wall and defend against the monster army? Then the power of the holy artillery. If you use it to lock onto the imperial palace, if you use it to lock onto the God Emperor Academy, the valley where the Magic Tribe's army is stationed, lock onto what kind of consequences would befall the palace question of God in the sky. At this moment, many of them felt their hearts go slightly cold, and their hair stood on end. They were angry, but they felt a chill in their hearts. That feeling. It was like a death god had strangled his throat. An indescribable pain. Buzz. System prompt. Filled. 4 gates to attack at the same time. Long Fei moved his idea. 4 holy artillery S were blasted out, exploding in the group of demon beast S. Those demon beast S were completely stunned by the attack. They were afraid. The monster army was swiftly evacuating. An existence that could not be stopped at all. Ha ha ha. Monster army has escaped. Ha ha ha. Boss, you're too powerful. Beneath the city walls, Song Qianqian and the others were cheering. The might of each cannon was simply too strong. Monster army felt like he had seen a ghost, and could not resist at all. At this moment, the people inside God Emperor City all secretly heaved a sigh of relief, but Long Fei did not relax. The system did not notify them that they had completed the monster attack, and that was only the first wave, and also the weakest wave. The monster attack was not over yet. At the same time, he was also shocked. What are those things? Where did Long Fei get this from? These cannons are too powerful. They are a threat to the entire immortal domain. They are way too terrifying. Some people were discussing this victory. However, many powerhouse were discussing about the holy artillery in Long Fei's hands. This kind of thing was too terrifying. Within the imperial palace, Your Majesty, Long Fei is a huge threat to our divine emperor empire, from the fact that he destroyed Boundary, and his 4 cannons. If they target our palace with their muzzles, I'm afraid all of us will die. Your Majesty, we cannot let Long Fei live. This kid can't be left alive. Too much of a threat. The magic tribe army was stationed at the base. Zhu Lai frowned deeply, his expression extremely ugly and his heart extremely unhappy. He had originally wanted to save Song Qianqian when she was on the verge of death, but he had instead. Long Fei's 4 holy artillery had completely destroyed his plan. Furthermore, the power released by the holy artillery was too terrifying. The monster army could not withstand it, and so could his army of magic tribe. They could not withstand it. What should he do? If the magic tribe army were to attack the God Emperor city, the 4 holy artillery would be able to stop them. At this time, the black-robed elder hurried over and said, replying to the young master, "We have investigated carefully. The energy released by the cannon is immortal crystal energy, at least 500 immortal crystals. If he doesn't have immortal crystals, he'll be wasted." The corner of Zhu Lai's eyes twitched, and said with a cold smile, "If Long Fei dies, those 4 cannons are all mine." On palace question of God, Jiyu Tongtian's expression was also extremely ugly. Very unhappy. He didn't know where Long Fei got this holy artillery from, but the monster army was destroyed just like that. This was too unbelievable. On the Hall of Immortals, an elder immediately suggested, "Grand Elder, Long Fei's threat is too great. We can't let him become the supreme god, and even more so, we can't let him live." Holy artillery was a huge threat to Outer Space Palace. Some of the elders felt their hearts tremble. If the cannons were to fly up, would Outer Space Palace be able to withstand it? It was really an unknown number. Jiyu Tongtian's eyes flashed with a cold light. The more he wanted to control Long Fei, the more he wanted to do so. The more he discovered, the more he was unable to control himself. He wanted Long Fei to retreat after understanding the difficulties, and then, he would suggest a few means to become stronger so that he could look for the Dragon Tail tomb. Long Fei had not followed the trajectory he had drawn out at all, and his control over Long Fei had never succeeded a single time. This made it very unhappy. Long Fei thought about how to block the monster army, and how to block the army of Magic Tribe. However, many people were thinking about how to kill him. Chapter 1018 Raging Flames. Chapter 1018 Raging Flames. East Cliff Valley. The shadow moved. Yin Mo appeared from within the real face and said faintly, "Greetings, young Devil Lord." Zhu Lai slightly said, "Master Yin Mo, there is no need to be polite. I am grateful that you were able to help me this time." Yin Mo was actually not someone from the western regions, he was someone from the Dark Domain's master, Song Qianqian. Yin Mo said, "It is my honor to be able to help young Devil Lord." Zhu Lai said, "All right, this time I have an important mission for you. I must complete it." Yin Mo said, "Definitely complete." On the city wall, Long Fei frowned, and asked Yuna, "Can you feel it?" Yuna's eyes were startled, and she immediately said, "Big brother Long Fei, I can feel an even stronger energy brewing. What exactly is this?" As expected, Long Fei's heart tightened, and an excited smile appeared on his face. "Come on, the more the better. I need experience. I need soaring experience." Long Fei was not worried. As long as there was a system, he would be able to kill them easily. He was not afraid, he was just afraid of lack of experience. The invasion of the city by the monsters was his chance to go on a rampage. Long Fei's voice sank as he said to Song Qianqian and the others, "Don't relax, the monsters' siege is not over yet." "Huh? It's not over yet. Wasn't the demon beast scared away?" Everyone's expression did not change, but their eyes were not as frightened as before, because Long Fei was there. Rumble. Rumble. A thunderous rumble came from the depths of the earth. The sound of countless thunderclaps resounded in the sky. It was extremely violent. "It's coming." Long Fei frowned, his eyes staring deadly into the distance. "It's not over yet. The monster army is not retreating at all. They are preparing an even more powerful attack. My God. God Emperor City is finished. Don't worry, there's still Long Fei. He can definitely hold on. Speaking of him, he's really a brainless person, ha ha ha." Long Fei was no longer concerned with what was happening in God Emperor City. The current him was completely different from how he was 3 days ago, and he was even less worried about the power released by the Holy Artillery. As long as he could stop the monster army, what if the Magic Tribe army could attack the God Emperor City? Who cares? Before, he still wanted to save the people of God Emperor City, but now, he had no such thought at all. Because of their indifference. Rumble. With a loud bang, a mutated beast emerged from the ground with a scream. At the same time, its abdomen burst open and a fat man covered in viscous liquid rushed out. He roared, "Come on, Fat Man Chen." And then, Fat Man Chen looked at Long Fei, who was on top of the city wall, and shouted, "Boss, the ground is full of mutated beasts." As soon as he finished, a huge crater, with a diameter of thousands of meters, appeared on the ground. There were countless craters in the ground, and those craters were filled with mutated beasts. At the same time, the void was splitting open as countless iron-armored griffins charged towards the sky above God Emperor City. Crap. Long Fei's expression changed. These demon beasts are acting completely differently. There must be a demon beast with high IQ that only knows them. That's right. Their goal was very simple: attack God Emperor City, and Long Fei would lose, and if he lost, he would be killed by the system, and 50 of them would die. F***ck. Long Fei cursed angrily and shouted, "Presbyter Chiu, Zong Tianai, Elderly in Green, Black Knife, Ling Long, Qian, Wang Qingshan, Xiao Ying, Han Shueji, Leader Sun, all of you resist the steel-armored griffins in the sky. They are moving towards the sky above the God Emperor City. You must not let them attack you. Dao Feng, Fatty, Man Tualuo, Aoya, follow me into the cave. We will prevent the ferocious beasts underground from invading. The others are on standby." Long Fei commanded very quickly. These berserk beasts were too intelligent. If they could not stop the Holy Artillery, they could circle around Long Fei and attack him from the sky or the ground. Everyone shouted in unison. The exquisite rosefinch blood vessel was summoned, and her body turned into a gigantic illusion of a vermilion bird, and she said, "All of you, stand on my back." Everyone flew up. Ling Long then spread her wings and rushed towards the sky above God Emperor City, and suddenly screeched towards the sky. A shrill and ear-piercing sound wave pierced through the void, causing the space to shatter as countless armored griffins rushed out. Kill. At the same time, Long Fei called for 3,000 immortal crystals to be given to Yuna, and said, "You control 3 holy artillery S." Yuna took the immortal crystals and nodded heavily. Long Fei picked up a holy artillery and descended from the city walls. Carrying a cannon on his shoulder and holding onto a dragon salyer in his hand, he rushed into the deep pit and shouted, "Charge!" Fat Man Chen took the lead. Dao Feng followed closely behind. Long Fei shouted, "Fatty, help us block this attack." Dao Feng sneak attack, Aoya protect Man Tualuo. Man Tualuo has released a spirit poison. You absolutely cannot let those demon beasts near the God Emperor City, absolutely cannot. At this time, Fat Man Chen was a little puzzled. "Boss, why did you help God Emperor City block these? Why don't you let the demon beast break through the God Emperor City? Look at the warriors, the families, and the sects and powerhouses in the God Emperor City, they are all so cold. Why are we serving as cannon fodder?" Man Tualuo's gaze tightened, and said, "Fatty, now is not the time to talk about these." Long Fei also felt that something was amiss. Why was there only such a small number of people that came out to defend the monster army? What about Fu Shishan's 100,000 death soldiers that he prepared for 3 years? Where are Song Qianqian's people? Where are the people from the Fat Man Chen's general residence? He wanted to say something out loud. "Boss, in the 3 days that you disappeared, all of our powers were instantly destroyed. The 100,000 death warriors that Sister Yun Shan prepared, the helpers of the dark domainess of the thousands of realms, were all killed by the powerhouse in one night. There is only one person who has such a power in the God Emperor city, someone from the palace question of God. Aoya said slightly. Fatty's Chen family has also been wiped out. Long Fei's eyes darkened, his fists clenched tightly, his anger surging. Fat Man Chen's heart also ached as he asked again, "Boss, why must we protect God Emperor City? This place should be destroyed by him." Long Fei let out a deep breath and said, "We must withstand the attacks of the demon beast, and only what you said just now, don't worry. When the time comes, we'll settle all the new and old debts together." While they were talking, Long Fei looked up into the sky, his eyes filled with killing intent, and said, "Jiyu Tongtian, just fucking wait." Chapter 1019, The Last Wave. Chapter 1019, The Last Wave. Long Fei did not explain why he had to resist the attacks of the demon beast. About the system. He would never reveal his greatest secret to anyone. At this moment, the anger in his heart and his hatred intertwined together. If it wasn't for the monsters attacking him, he would have definitely charged towards the palace question of God to kill him, but he couldn't do it now. If the monster attack failed, the system would kill off all 50 of them. It didn't matter if Long Fei died alone, but if he had to kill 50 people, that was out of the question. Long Fei did not explain. Fat Man Chen also did not pursue the matter. As long as Long Fei wanted to do something, even if he knew that he was going to die, he would jump down without hesitation. Quickly charged forward. Long Fei didn't explain, but no one knew how much anger he was feeling. He ran to the edge of the crater. Long Fei took a step down, heavily shouted, and said, "Holy artillery, blast." He fired off a cannon attack at the incomparably vicious beasts in the deep pit. Rumble. An extremely strong power exploded in the deep pit, blasting countless mutated beasts into a bloody mess. In the instant that the holy artillery was filled with energy, the dragon Salia in Long Fei's hands moved, Black Dragon angry slash. Roar. The black dragon roared. The black flaming blade chi was released without any restraint and struck down heavily. Hualala. The mutated beast let out a painful cry as the blade slashed down. The system beeped crazily. Long Fei landed on the ground. Fatty, Daofeng, Aoya, Mantualuo, the four of you, form a group. According to the formation attack that I mentioned just now, you definitely cannot let any more mutated beasts pass through. Long Fei stood in front of the biggest deep hole. After finishing his instructions, Long Fei immediately jumped in. The deep hole was like a bottomless abyss. The abyss was like a hell, constantly emitting the aura of death. Hell? So what? It wasn't like he hadn't been there before. The king's variant set that Long Fei was wearing was exceptionally ferocious, like a beam of light rushing down a dark abyss. The dragon Salia in Long Fei's hands continuously swept across. "Get out here, isn't that the demon beast attacking the city? Aren't you going to attack my God Emperor city? Come on." Long Fei wanted to end this quickly. He wanted to rush up to the palace question of God as soon as possible and overturn him. "What's wrong with hiding in the dog hole? Come out if you dare." Long Fei roared. It was also at this time. A golden light flashed from the depths of the abyss. It was incredibly dazzling. He could not stand Long Fei's provocation and roared out from the abyss. The strong aura of death pounced at him like a ferocious beast and his deep voice sounded out, "Weak human, prepare to die with me." Buzz. A mutated beast that burned with the flames of death appeared in front of Long Fei. "Heh. Boss." The corner of Long Fei's mouth curled up, revealing a look of excitement. The two lumps of green pupils of the hell beast twitched as it disdainfully said, "You dare act impudently in front of me with the cultivation of a Yuanxian? You're courting death." As soon as he finished, the beast disappeared. Was not afraid at all. In his heart, he was furious as he roared out, "Super Saiyang, Level 3 Evolution, Transform." Shua. Long Fei immediately changed his body. Along with the aura of the Emperor armament, Long Fei was now like a shooting star. Golden energy flames ignited his body, Golden hair shot up into the sky. 1,000 blessings sect. After clearing God Emperor Fairyland, all of Long Fei's skill levels had increased by 1, all of his current skills had been upgraded. He struck out with his palm. Boom, boom, boom. In the depths of the abyss, the power of the Holy Buddha shrouded down and instantly crushed that ball of flames into their original form. Long Fei's footsteps moved, and he roared, unparalleled at level 9, open it for me. Level 8 unparalleled leveled up by 1 level, 9th level. Rumble. A attribute strength of 512 times erupted. Long Fei suppressed the beast with one hand, and with a berserk fist, he furiously struck down. You laugh at this, daddy? Disdain of your father? You think you are worthy of it? The mutated demon beast is amazing, right? Hell is great, isn't it? I have even killed a king of hell. Do I have to be afraid of a mere demon beast like you? King Kong Fury Ape, 100,000 punches. Blast you to death. Violent kill. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Hell's vicious beasts for obtaining 180,000 experience, 210,000 power of celestial points, and 1 energy values. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Hell's vicious beast. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining power of death. Do you wish to fuse it? Congratulations to player Long Fei for resisting the second wave of demon beast attack. Damn. There's a third wave. Awesome. Long Fei quickly flew out from the abyss. In the deep pit, the bodies of Aoya and the other 3 were covered in blood. Seeing Long Fei rushing out, they all grinned. Long Fei glanced at the sect system. His experience points had already reached 700 million points, so Long Fei could bring up all of these experience points, or even let his sect level up. Long Fei didn't bring it up immediately. The second wave is over. Long Fei let out a light breath and said, the beasts underground should not appear anymore. Aoya said while panting heavily, I just received news that the 1,000 forces have blocked it, killing 30 armored griffins. Those griffins have all fled back into the void. Fat Men Chen said, Boss, do you mean that there are even stronger demon beast? Without waiting for Fatty to finish, the sky split open. Boom, boom. The dense power of Celestial emitted out from its body. It had thick armor, and all of them were fairy beasts with immortal roots. Their strength was double that of before. It was also the last wave. Boom, boom. When Long Fei and the others flew out of the deep pit, they saw an armored beast in the distance. Every beast was glowing with a golden light, a blinding golden light. Moreover, the lowest level of these war beasts were all at the 6th rank. In other words, it was a grade 6 immortal foundation. Long Fei grinned, Fat Men Chen also said excitedly, I'm going to make a fortune. Aoya said, all of a sudden, there are so many fairy beasts. Their power is much stronger than mutated beasts. Long Fei roared, he was extremely excited in his heart. System, you are too damn nice to me. What kind of monster is attacking a city? It's completely giving me experience, ha ha ha. Whoosh whoosh whoosh, Song Chantian and the rest landed on the ground one by one. She stood in a row with Long Fei. Long Fei's blood boiled, don't you all lack immortal roots? If we kill all of them, you wouldn't have to worry about your immortal foundation, Song Chantian said slightly. Long Fei, the fairy beast army, we are not a match for them. Long Fei looked at Song Chantian and said, don't worry, I will help you. Chapter 1020, 10 billion experience. Chapter 1020, 10 billion experience. Fairy beast, a beast that carried immortal foundation. They were extremely powerful. Moreover, an extremely rare existence. The appearance of the fairy beast army shocked everyone. The warriors of the gods' martial continent were too lacking in immortal roots, and many people were fighting to the death for a piece of immortal foundation. The appearance of a fairy beast would cause a large amount of power to fight for it. Now, just outside the God Emperor city, a large group of fairy beast appeared. They were all high-leveled fairy beasts. Many people swallowed their saliva. It was too enticing, but no one from God Emperor City dared to go out, because they weren't a match at all. The fairy beast was too strong. On palace question of God. How could so many fairy beasts suddenly appear? Grand Elder, should we? The elders of the palace question of God also lacked immortal roots. They were also unable to condense their immortal roots while cultivating. Seeing such a huge army of fairy beast, they were unable to withstand the temptation, but, compared to the fairy beast army, they were more afraid of Jiyu Tongtian. Jiyu Tongtian said slightly, "Let Long Fei go alone." "Yes, sir." Although they wanted to hunt for immortal roots and get a piece of the cake, they did not dare disobey Jiyu Tongtian. Moreover, they knew clearly in their hearts that if this kind of fairy beast army did not intervene, they simply could not resist. Jiyu Tongtian's heart became more and more filled with doubt. Why is it like this? The demon beast of the 10 great forbidden mountain ranges gathered together, and the mutated demon beast came out from the depths. Now that there are suddenly so many of them, what exactly are these? Long Fei, what exactly did you do? He could not understand. In the eastern cliff valley, Zhu Lai's heart trembled. He also drooled over those fairy beast, but, compared to these fairy beast, he wanted Long Fei's life even more. Long Fei, I want to see how you can block this wave of fairy beast attacks. Heh. At this moment, Yin Mo and the old man in the black cloak both disappeared by Zhu Lai's side. Right now, Long Fei was fully focused on defending against the attacks of the demon beast, so he did not expect that Zhu Lai would make a move against his men. Boss, what should we do? Fat Man Chen stared at a huge explosive bear beast, his eyes glowing. The fairy beastess with eternal Yuan Xian roots, the ones he needed right now. Everyone looked at Long Fei, waiting for orders. Long Fei said, "Old rules, you all cripple the fairy beast and leave the rest to me. As for the immortal foundation, you all do not need to worry, I have a way to reveal all of it. It would take a long time for an ordinary martial artist to break away from the immortal foundation." Long Fei didn't have time to give them. He had to fight with all his might. No one hesitated. Fat Man Chen was the first to unrestrainedly charge out. He roared and said, Come and beat this daddy." The black knife followed. Dao Feng, Man Tuoluo, Zheng Qingsong, Xiao Ying and Han Shueji formed a team. They had trained in the ability to attack together, so they could work together. Qiu Wandao brought along the 3 Yuan Xian realm elders. Ling Long and Aoya stood to the left and right of Long Fei. A great battle was about to begin. This was the last wave of the Beast Wave. As long as he could withstand this wave, Long Fei's God's martial sect would be established in a righteous sense, and would be acknowledged by the system. The sect system must be established. Because, with the rise of the sect's grade, it could trigger many functions. The power of a sect. Sect experience. In the store of the sect. Even in the legends, it was the point that Long Fei valued the most, the sect's teleportation. He could instantly teleport sect disciples to a place, beat them, and suddenly send a large group of his brothers over. "I'll ask you, are you afraid?" Bang, bang, bang. The first wave of people who charged up were all sent flying. The armored fairy beast were much stronger than what Long Fei could imagine. "Galen, Nox, come out." "Yes, sir." A loud sound resounded in the air as Galen, dressed in death armor, rushed out with a great sword in hand. On the other side, Nox, who was wearing a red vest and had a basketball in his hand, was also summoned out. With these two as the center, "Kill them for me." Long Fei gave the order. With an attack power of several tens of thousands of points, Galen and Nox, whose attacks had explosively struck a few thousand points, charged forth. The whirlwind slash started to twist, and Nox also continued to spin non-stop. Once Nox's big move was triggered, Long Fei would slash down. Unparalleled 9th level. The guillotine. Crack. With the fairy beast's head cut off, the system sounded out. "Boss, over here." Fat Man Chen raised an explosive bear fairy beast, whose body was covered in injuries and armor that he had backfired on, and threw it beside Long Fei. Long Fei's left hand moved, and the monarch holy sword chopped down. Ding. The system beep rang. Long Fei took a look at the explosive bear defensive immortal root, and said to the fatty, "The immortal foundation is here, continue to be kill." It was like a raging fire. There wasn't even the appearance of an incomparably powerful fairy beast army, yet Long Fei had already fled in a sorry state. On the contrary, Long Fei and the rest of the group were killing them with even more excitement. Even though they were also wounded and each of them had been wounded, no one retreated at all. Many people slowly gathered on the city wall. Their eyes were filled with envy. So many fairy beasts, so many immortal roots. Sigh. If only I could join Long Fei's team. What are you talking about now? Weren't you mocking Long Fei and the others for being idiots? That person's expression changed as he said, "Didn't you say it too?" Within the Imperial Palace. We can't continue like this. Long Fei will kill all of the fairy beast and we won't be able to get anything out of it. Humph. This is the God Emperor city, we just need to crush Long Fei. Long Fei is a man who values friendship very much. When we made a move on him, we used him to threaten Long Fei and made him hand over his immortal foundation. If that's the case, the temptation of the immortal foundation was too great. A lot of people had their eyes on the immortal foundation. Even the elders of the palace question of God all had this idea. But, in comparison to them, Zhu Lai had already moved a long time ago. Seeing the fairy beast becoming fewer and fewer, Zhu Lai turned around to look at the million-strong army in the valley. The magic tribe army roared. Zhu Lai looked at the distant Long Fei, and laughed complacently. Long Fei, oh Long Fei, you're dead for sure today, ha ha ha. Buddhist illumination. Long Fei's palm struck down. Following that, he shouted towards the Fitted Realm's fairy beast, "Big sword, kill it." Galen moved, holding onto the sword with both of his hands, he fiercely slashed at the fairy beast. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining 10 million experience points while killing fairy beast. Power of Celestial 130,000 points, energy values, 1 point. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining grade 8 immortal root. It was also at this time. The system rang out once again. Ding! Congratulations to the player Long Fei for completing the Demon Beast attack. The Demon Beast attack has come to an end. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for establishing God's martial sec. Rewards: 1 billion experience points, 1 million power of celestial points, 100,000 points reward. Long Fei's experience in the joint sect system had already reached 10 billion point. Do you want to upgrade? At this moment, in the direction of the East Cliff Valley, dust filled the sky. The million-strong army of Magic Tribe began to attack. Chapter 1021, Broken City. Chapter 1021, Broken City. The Sandpiper clams fought with the fishermen, and the fish benefited from it. Who is the snipe? Who is the clam? Who is the fisherman? Long Fei had blocked the demon beast's attack. His people had also paid a huge price. With more than 100 people dead and half injured, only Long Fei and the rest of the main forces were still alive, but they were heavily injured. At this point of time, their fighting strength was less than a third of their total. The reason the Magic Tribe army had rushed out at this time was definitely to attack Long Fei's acupoints. However, a shadow soldier came to Long Fei's front and said, "Boss, the Magic Tribe's army is attacking, should we start attacking?" At the same time, Fat Men Chen scolded angrily, his Sof * King Sinister. To attack at this time, his too shameless. "Boss, what do you think we should do?" No one was happy. His steps shook the sky, and he thought about it more and more, until everyone in God Emperor City heard him. Some people were worried. Some laughed heartily. "Aren't you, Long Fei, awesome? Continue. Let's see how long you can remain arrogant for." Palace Question of God has orders. This is a test for Long Fei. No one is allowed to intervene and help. Ha ha ha. Now I understand how powerful and incisive this move is. Long Fei, oh Long Fei, let's see how you're going to deal with this. The people from Palace Question of God are awesome. Many people were laughing at him, because many people were displeased with Long Fei. Long Fei had killed so many fairy beasts and obtained so many immortal roots. This made many people jealous, so jealousy would turn into hatred. The people of the Li clan were like this. The people from the Palace Question of God were the same. Even though the magic tribe army was pressing down on the land, they had never thought of helping. They wanted to see Long Fei being stepped on, wanted to see him being crushed to the ground and unable to get up. Long Fei turned around and glanced at the city gate. There were still no royal guards, no one was blocking the magic tribe's army, and Long Fei's heart had completely died. Since that was the case, why did he, a member of the Nantian region, have to protect the God Emperor city? How could he protect a city that didn't even protect itself? Heh. Long Fei laughed coldly, a hint of pain in his voice. And then, Long Fei took a step back and said, "Let's retreat." Fat Man Chen was startled, and said, "Withdraw? Boss, did I hear wrongly?" Everyone looked at Long Fei. They couldn't understand Long Fei. Long Fei slightly said, "God Emperor City, I want to turn God Emperor City into ruins." He had to block the attack, because if he failed the quest issued by the system, they would be killed. However, he could block the army of Magic Tribe, but he could not. The key point was, the people from the God Emperor City made Long Fei very unhappy. Long Fei's words fell. Fat Man Chen immediately became excited, and said, "Ha ha ha. We should have done this a long time ago." I agree too. Treat us like jokes. They're sitting in the city watching a play. It's time to make them afraid. Their opinions were surprisingly unanimous. Everyone was very unhappy with the God Emperor City. Finished. Long Fei brought dozens of people to quickly retreat. They did not want to enter the city. At the same time, they passed through the elders of the drug race for them to evacuate. The Black Knife then went to fetch Yuna, who was on the city wall. Long Fei's actions caused everyone inside the God Emperor City to be startled. Why did they run away? What the hell is going on? How can they run? What is this dog doing? The inside of the God Emperor City was in a state of panic, but it was not too intense. Everyone was discussing why Long Fei had to retreat. Wasn't this the Supreme God's test? How could he retreat? Did he not want to become the Supreme God of the Palace Question of God? Many people were puzzled. At this moment, the Magic Tribe army entered his field of vision. The army of 1,000,000 was extremely valiant. "Young master, Long Fei has retreated." Zhu Lai was startled. He did not expect Long Fei to suddenly retreat, and said, "I did not even set any conditions, and he already left. Isn't this too honest? Could it be a trick?" Zhu Lai's heart trembled, his eyes revealed a sinister sneer, and said, "Long Fei, even if there's a trick, you can't win against me, ha ha ha. Chard. If Long Fei doesn't resist, then turn the God Emperor City into ruins. I'd like to see what you're up to." Zhu Lai was not scared by Long Fei's retreat. "Since you are retreating, then you should charge forward even more ferociously." He increased his speed. The Magic Tribe army advanced quickly, and did not encounter any obstructions. Long Fei will definitely take action. Who doesn't want to become the Supreme God? He definitely has a plan. He will definitely hold off the Magic Tribe's army, so there's no need to worry. If even that enormous monster army could resist it, the army of Magic Tribe would definitely do the same. Ha ha ha. The position of the Supreme God was supreme. The head of the Palace Question of God, the head of the immortal domain. Who doesn't want to become Supreme God? Defending against the Magic Tribe was Long Fei's Supreme God's test. He would definitely appear. He would definitely resist the Magic Tribe's test. The Magic Tribe army got closer and closer. The footsteps grew louder and louder. The entire God Emperor City was trembling. In half a minute, the Magic Tribe army had already rushed to the bottom of the God Emperor City. A giant beast Magic Tribe, wielding his hammer, shouted, "Break the city for me. Rumble. Rumble." The catapult's crazy bombardment stopped half of the city wall in its tracks as the Magic Tribe's army poured into the city like a tidal wave. Everyone in God Emperor City was dumbfounded. The Li clan members were dumbstruck. Even the people from the Palace Question of God were dumbfounded. At this critical moment, Long Fei did not make a move at all. Zhu Lai's voice sunk as he shouted, "Kill them all, don't leave a single one alive. Kill." The city gate was pushed down, the 1,000,000-strong army surged. The moment they rushed into God Emperor City, they crazily massacred. Those people did not even have time to react before they were split into two. They were all stunned. How could this be? Why? They couldn't understand. Wasn't Long Fei supposed to protect them? Isn't Long Fei a trial of the supreme god? Why was it like this? They deserved to have Long Fei protect the God Emperor city in front of them. They treated Long Fei as a fool. You like to ridicule? You like to ridicule? Now slowly ridicule, slowly ridicule. Looking at the people of God Emperor city being slaughtered, he was filled with hatred, but he suddenly realized that this was the immortal domain, not the Nantian region. Even if he had done too much and changed the entire God's martial continent, no one would remember him. Since you won't give me face, then why should I give you face? Ah! Help! Save us! Murderous and looting were taking place within the city, and miserable screams could be heard everywhere. God Emperor City became a city of massacre, blood flowing like a river, corpses littered the streets. Here, death was dancing wildly. The God Emperor City had become a living hell. Chapter 1022, I'll show you what qualification is. Chapter 1022, I'll show you what qualification is. Long Fei did not regret his decision. His personality said, if you treat me well, I will treat you well twice over. You are my brother, and I will cherish you with all my might. However, if I treat you well and give you a chance, and you do this again and again, then I'm sorry, but if you don't care about face, then you shouldn't live in this world anymore. Looking at the sky full of flames and rivers of blood flowing in God Emperor City, Long Fei's eyes were cold and detached. It was just like how the people in the city looked at him coldly in the beginning. Zong Tianai slightly said, Long Fei, isn't this too cruel? Fat Men Chen shouted, Elder Zong, have you forgotten how they treat us? In the beginning, they were cold and emotionless. In such a big God Emperor City, not a single person was willing to fight alongside us. God Emperor City is our God Emperor City, not theirs. Now it's their turn to be massacred. How can we be cruel? Fatty was still suppressing his anger, feeling extremely displeased. Dao Ba also said, these people should know what it means to be scared. They should be proud and haughty, treating us as fools. Who is the fool now? Linglong muttered, senior brother Long Fei, this magic tribe is too cruel. Long Fei did not speak. He would not interfere. As long as it did not provoke him, he would never care about the life and death of God Emperor City. As for the position of Supreme God, 3 days ago, he wanted to obtain the position of the Supreme God so that he could give orders for the people of the God Emperor City to unite and defend against the army of the magic tribe. The palace question of God's Supreme God's trial was simply playing. Since that's the case, let's see who can pull it off. Palace question of God. All the elders in the hall revealed a look of anger. What the hell is Long Fei doing? How can he retreat? This is too presumptuous. They were all criticizing Long Fei for his wrongdoings, and did not even look at themselves. This was the situation. As the strongest power of the immortal domain, they actually allowed the magic tribe army to slaughter him, and in their eyes, the ordinary people of the God Emperor City were nothing more than ants, not worth their high and mighty gods attacking. Jiyu Tongtian frowned, his expression unhappy. Long Fei, oh Long Fei, I really can't see through you. Grand Elder. If this goes on, the God Emperor City will be finished. An elder said lightly. Jiyu Tongtian ignored him. He didn't care about the life and death of the God Emperor City at all. He only cared about Long Fei. Another elder said cautiously, Great Clan Elder, why don't you allow us to fight? The God Emperor City is the last place, Jiyu Tongtian glared at him. The elder was so frightened that he immediately fell to his knees. They're just a bunch of ants. Why bother about their lives? An elder sneered. From beginning to end. Jiyu Tongtian knew that if Long Fei was unable to stop the magic tribe army, they would immediately turn the God Emperor City into ashes. He never thought that the people of the God Emperor City would be dead. Kill them all, ha ha ha. Ju Lai laughed wildly in satisfaction. So what if you're Immortal Domain's first city? So what if you're a God Emperor Academy? In front of my magic tribe's army, they are all trash. Ju Lai was incomparably pleased, as the million-strong army massacred everything in the city. It was also at this time. The Black Knife ran back and said, "Boss, Una is gone, and the Holy Artillery is also gone. In another place. Young Master Long, Alliance Master Fu is also gone. One controlled the Holy Artillery. One was controlling 100,000 immortal crystals. The two of them disappeared at the same time." Long Fei's brows sunk, the anger in his heart surged. Taking a step forward, he instantly appeared in the air above God Emperor City, and stared at Zhu Lai, who was on the back of a super war beast. Zhu Lai laughed coldly. "Long Fei, you're finally out? Don't waste your breath on Laozi. Laozi is only asking you one question: where are my people?" Long Fei did not want to waste words. Now. His anger was ferocious and his heart was filled with displeasure. When the surrounding people saw Long Fei appear, at this moment, they once again placed him in front of their savior. "Long Fei, save us. Master Long Fei, save me." After experiencing fear, the people of the Palace Question of God did not attack, the people of the God Emperor Academy did not attack, the people of the Li clan also did not attack. They were like children who had been abandoned, standing alone without help, in despair. At this moment, they treated Long Fei as their savior. Long Fei did not even glance at them. Instead, he stared straight at Zhu Lai. Zhu Lai smirked proudly, and said, "No one can save you, and so can Long Fei, the dog. Ha ha ha. Long Fei, do you want that little girl? Do you want that big-chested beauty? Ha ha ha. Kneel down and beg me." Zhu Lai was extremely pleased with himself. Looking at his surroundings, he felt even more proud of himself. So everything was under his control. There were even super powerhouse surrounding Long Fei. Zhu Lai roared, "Kneel on the ground and beg me, I will spare them." Long Fei's forehead turned sinister as he said, "You're courting death." Ha ha ha. Zhu Lai laughed madly, and said, "You want to die? Who was courting death? Stealing women from me, Long Fei, you shouldn't have, but you shouldn't have fought with me, Zhu Lai, for a woman, who do you think you are? If you don't piss yourself, what right do you have to fight with me for it?" At this moment, Song Qianqian also rushed over. Song Qianqian's eyes turned sinister as he shouted, "Zhu Lai, quickly release Yuna and sister Yunshan." When Zhu Lai saw Song Qianqian, she became even more beautiful after not seeing him for a few years. She immediately said, "Qian Qian, it's good that you came." Song Qianqian became angry and asked, "Zhu Lai, what are you trying to do?" Zhu Lai said, "I want him to kneel down and beg me." "Long Fei, kneel down." The voice was deep and thunderous. The entire God Emperor city was stunned silent as well as everyone's gaze turned to look in their direction. Long Fei landed on the ground lightly, looked coldly at Zhu Lai, and said word by word, "You can make a move against me, but you can't make a move against the people by my side. Do you think that the great army of 1,000,000 magic tribe is that strong? Do you think that just because you have a few immortal realm powerhouses by your side, you are strong? Do you think a trash like you can fight against me? You say that I don't have the qualifications? I'll let you know what qualifications are." Long Fei was furious. The anger of the day was vented out crazily. The moment he said that, he roared out, "Gravity Troll, come out." Boom. The air split open as a super giant demon landed heavily on the left side of Long Fei. "Lei Mo." "Yes, sir." Another giant demon fell down. "Earth Devil." Boom. The earth demons also landed heavily on the ground. The three giant demons stood on Long Fei's left and right sides, exuding an abnormally mighty and domineering aura. However, and this was not the end. Chapter 1023 Arrogant to the Extreme. Chapter 1023 Arrogant to the Extreme. The three giant demons were incomparably mighty. She stood beside Long Fei like a super warlord, her aura extremely savage and devilish. The entire God Emperor city was completely silent. The people from the Palace Question of God were also stunned. Giant demon. It's the giant demon of the breaking through the seal. Could it be? Long Fei is the person who helped them get rid of the seal? Is he a demon too? We have been looking for the Devil Slayer, but who would have thought, Long Fei is a devil? They were shocked by the appearance of the three giant demons. Searching for the Devil Slayer was like a joke. Zhu Lai was also shocked. He never thought that Long Fei would be able to summon the three super giant demons. They are the magic tribe. This was the first time Long Fei made the three giant demons public. This was the first time he had acted so recklessly, without any regard for the consequences. He used to worry. He was afraid that he would be surrounded and killed in the presence of a demon, but he realized that he was wrong. Powerhouse was the king of this world. As long as you were strong enough, even 10,000 people would respect and worship you. Damn. Mighty and domineering. Boss, too powerful. Ha ha ha. This is our boss. Fat Men Chen and Dao Bie were excited. They were shocked by the three-headed giant demon that Long Fei had summoned. Zhu Lai's face became ugly. However, Long Fei sneered and said, "Are you qualified? Is he not qualified? I will give you the right to become even stronger. 14th Dragon Ancestor, get out." Boom. With a loud sound, an explosion sounded out from within Long Fei's body. Following that, the dragon god's roar came from the sky. Black Dragon Ancestor, come out. Rumble. Black Dragon Ancestor rushed out from the Dragon Salia S, his huge body, which was covered by his black dragon scales, glowing with a blinding light. The aura of a dragon burst out from his body that could intimidate even 10,000 miles, as his huge body blocked out the sky. Black Dragon Ancestor replied heavily, "Boss. Sea Dragon King." Roar. The arrogant and tyrannical Sea Dragon King charged out of his body and roared, "Those who touch my boss, die. Green Dragon Ancestor, come out." Boom. Another Cyan Dragon rushed out of his body and floated behind Long Fei, heavily saying, "Boss. 8 Golden Dragons, out. Patriarch Ghost Dragon, come out. Blood Dragon Ancestor, come out. Poisonous Ancestor, come out." Boom, boom, boom. Bang 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 bang. One after another, the entire God Emperor city was squashed. The 14 dragon tribe quietly floated behind Long Fei, and then, together with the three giant demons, they shouted out, "Boss." His voice was deafening, and his mighty and domineering aura was in complete disarray. Too cool. At this moment, the entire God Emperor city, the entire immortal domain was trembling because of Long Fei. This was the first time Long Fei summoned all of them out. His eyes were cold as he stared at Zhu Lai, and laughed. "Qualifications, enough?" The voice was like a bomb that exploded on Zhu Lai's mind, and it also exploded on the entire God Emperor city. In an instant, it was completely crushed by Long Fei, and even millions of people didn't even have time to breathe as they let out heavy breaths. He had never seen such a scene. Never. This was a shock they would never forget for the rest of their lives. "Oh my God. Long Fei, who exactly are you?" Too strong. We all say that he's arrogant and conceited. This bastard has such great power. The things he had before were basically being low-key. Zhu Lai, the young devil lord, looks like a joke. The shock caused by the three giant demons was very strong. The appearance of the 14th dragon ancestor brought the trembling of his heart to a peak. It was incomparable. Zhu Lai's face became extremely unsightly, as if someone had ruthlessly slapped him a few times. He never thought that Long Fei would actually possess such a powerful strength. This qualification was too strong. Palace Question of God was also surprised. Jiyu Tongtian frowned. He was not too shocked by the appearance of the 14th dragon ancestor. He already knew all of this, but the appearance of the three great demons shocked him greatly, and he thought to himself, "Long Fei, who exactly are you?" Even the dragon ancestor appeared. That means, Long Fei is really the prophet's son? Only he can find the dragon domain that disappeared for more than 6 million years. It's really too fierce. Their hearts were also cold, because of Long Fei's strength. This kid is really incredible. If the dragon ancestor can summon it, then who in the immortal domain can block his footsteps? Many elders looked at Jiyu Tongtian. On the other hand, a smile hung on Jiyu Tongtian's face. God Emperor City. The million-strong army of Magic Tribe were trembling in fear. Zhu Lai's mind was also trembling. He was unable to endure the pressure from the 14th dragon ancestor's dragon aura, and his heart felt uncomfortable. Long Fei laughed. Do you still have the qualifications? Zhu Lai was speechless. Although he was the young devil lord of the western regions and the descendant of the master of magic tribe, he was not even worth a fart when compared to the current Long Fei. What kind of existence did the dragon race used to be? Hegemony. An absolute hegemon. Zhu Lai didn't speak, but the corner of his mouth curled up into a death god's smile. With a ferocious roar, he said, I'll let you know what qualifications are. Kill. Suddenly, there was an explosive sound. Long Fei's idea moved, the 14th dragon ancestor roared, and started moving crazily. Boom. Boom. Rumble. The entire army of 1 million magic tribe was destroyed in a matter of seconds. They were massacred, the 14th dragon ancestor unleashed his might, and they were unstoppable. The million-strong army of the magic tribe was trampled like ants. 1 minute. Just a minute. In the million-strong army of magic tribe, only the few people beside Zhu Lai remained. All of them were instantly killed. It was also at this moment that the system sound that rang out from Long Fei's body was enough to blast a mountain range to the ground. Experience points madly piled up. It rose to 15 billion. Long Fei was not in a hurry to level up. The blood was like a flood, flooding the streets of God Emperor City and turning the streets into a river. Long Fei didn't even blink as he stared at the trembling Zhu Lai. He asked coldly, qualification? Is that enough? Zhu Lai's face turned pale white. His legs were shaking and he couldn't stand properly. It was too hard to bear. The million-strong magic tribe army was instantly killed. Who could resist? Terrifying. Zhu Lai heavily swallowed his saliva, and said with a somewhat trembling voice, Long Fei, you, if you dare touch me, I'll make sure you never see the two of them again. I, Zhu Lai, will keep my word. This was his last trump card. The registration card. He didn't think that even though he wanted to make Long Fei look bad, he had actually turned into such a miserable state. At this moment, Yang Huang ancestor slightly said, the Yin soldiers have succeeded. Chapter 1024 What the F***ck are you? Chapter 1024 What the F***ck are you? Yang Huang ancestor's voice sounded. Long Fei smiled slightly, and said, forever? Look over there. Yuna and Fu Shishan slowly walked over from nearby. Zhu Lai's expression changed, and said, how could they? The last trump card was gone. The fear in Zhu Lai's heart grew even stronger. He suddenly took a step forward and said, continue, what other cards do you have left? All of them. He vented his anger. Zhu Lai retreated several steps and said, Long Fei, you've won. He won. If you're not dead, how can I be considered victorious? Long Fei playfully laughed. Weren't you very pleased with yourself just now? Didn't you say you wanted me to kneel down? Didn't you say that I don't have the qualifications to fight with you, nor the qualifications to fight with you over a woman? Long Fei took another step. Zhu Lai took a step back, and said, Long Fei, don't go overboard. You should know who I am very well. I'm just going too far. How? Bite me. Today, he was very unhappy. God Emperor City's coldness had made him unhappy, and Jiyu Tongqian's methods had made him unhappy. Now that Zhu Lai had captured Yuna and Fu Shishan, this made him even more unhappy. If it were not for the fact that the ghost soldiers were watching Zhu Lai closely, they would have had to go through a lot of trouble to find Yuna and the rest. Zhu Lai continuously retreated, and said, Long Fei, don't be too arrogant, in front of me, in the end. I'm the worst. Suddenly, Long Fei took a step forward, and the dragon Salia in his hand moved, slashing down. Black Dragon Ancestor followed suit, and the Black Dragon aura on the Dragon Salia pressed down. I am arrogant, crazy. What can you do? With speed reaching his limit, the Dragon Salia smashed down heavily and cut Zhu Lai's shoulder. Kneel. Zhu Lai was caught off guard. With a sinking shoulder, he bent his legs and kneeled down heavily. Bam! Crack! The kneecap cracked, and fresh blood spurted out. Zhu Lai screamed miserably in pain. Ah! Yin Mo, Protector Black Robe, kill him for me, buzz. An explosion sounded in the air. Yin Mo rushed out into the sky. The black-robed protector had arrived instantly as well. Sudden attack. Zhu Lai was in so much pain that he started to sweat profusely. Boom. Long Fei stood in place without moving an inch. In that instant, Chen Tianfei's footsteps moved, and the moment Long Fei made his move, he was already prepared. He felt the energy fluctuation in the air, and before Yin Mo could rush out, he had rushed out and landed beside Long Fei. The holy armor fairy vein in his body moved and roared out, "Wang." The voice was loud like a bell. Chen Tianfei coldly snorted, "You want to hurt my boss? You have to get past me first." At the same time, the black knife moved, the green dragon crescent moon blade in its hand chopped at Yin Mo, the blade spirit shook, the divine emperor slash, the power to shatter the void. Rumble. An attack sound and a defense sound simultaneously rang out. The black-robed protector was blocked. Chen Tianfei stood there without moving, his divine armor's defense abnormally sturdy, as if he was a mighty general. The black knife, on the other hand, was even fiercer. The God Emperor's blade technique immediately cut Yin Mo into two. Instant kill. The black-robed protector was also forced to spit out a mouthful of blood. His face was pale. Long Fei laughed coldly. "Continue?" Zhu Lai's expression became even more unsightly, and he stuttered, "Long Fei, I'm wrong, I shouldn't have fought with you, I shouldn't have fought with you over thousands of kilograms, I'm wrong, I'll apologize to you, please spare my life, I definitely won't provoke you again, I swear to him." He was scared. He was truly afraid. Right now, there was not a single person around him. The million-strong army of Magic Tribe had been killed, Black Robe had been severely injured, Yin Mo had been killed, and this place was tens of millions of kilometers away from the Western Magic Tribe. No one would be able to save him, even his master would not make it in time. This was the reason he was afraid. However, at this moment, Jiyu Tongtian, who was in Palace Question of God, had disappeared. "Now you know your wrongs." "Heh." Long Fei said without the slightest hesitation. Too late. As soon as he finished, Long Fei raised his dragon salyer once again and roared, "Those who touch me, die." The saber chopped down. At this moment, the sky darkened, a boundless might pressed down and roared, "Long Fei, stop." Rumble, rumble, rumble. Thunder rumbled, as if the sky was about to split open. Unparalleled power. At the same time, Long Fei's blade was held back by a powerful force, unable to continue his attack. In the sky, Jiyu Tongtian's huge face was imprinted in the air. He stared at Long Fei and bellowed, "Long Fei, I told you to stop, did you not hear me?" "Jiyu Tongtian," Long Fei roared out in a deep voice, and said, "You're finally out." Hatred grew. Killing intent grew. The killing thought was boiling. In the 3 days that he had disappeared, the Chen family was destroyed, Fu Shishan's 100,000 warriors were killed, Song Qianqian's men were killed. All of this was heard by Long Fei. The anger in his heart was never extinguished. Now that Jiyu Tongtian had appeared, Long Fei had to hide the killing intent in his heart. Jiyu Tongtian asked coldly, "What? Do you still want to fight me? Kid, you'd better listen to me obediently. Otherwise, all of you will die, do you understand?" Jiyu Tongtian's words were filled with contempt and disdain. He was a powerhouse of the flying fairyland, an ant beneath a flying immortal. Even if you were an immortal peak realm, you wouldn't even be able to move half a hair on the flying fairyland. This was the difference in strength. Threats. Long Fei hated people who threatened him the most. Moreover, I should use my brothers and family to threaten him. Long Fei laughed coldly, "Are you threatening this father?" Jiyu Tongtian's eyes became gloomy. "You call yourself your father in front of me?" Buzz. A bolt of lightning smashed down and Long Fei's body sank, to the point of nearly kneeling on the ground. His expression was abnormally unsightly. TL. At this moment, 14th dragon ancestor moved. Long Fei shouted, and said, "This is my problem, don't move. Cluck, cluck. Long Fei's joints were crushed with an explosive sound, his internal organs were all displaced and he was feeling incomparable discomfort. This was only a small bit of pressure from the flying fairyland, but to Long Fei, it was as if a mountain was crushing down on his shoulders. You told me not to kill him, right? Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Long Fei laughed sinisterly, holding the dragon Salia tightly in his hand. He stared at Ju Lai, raised his head and roared, "This daddy just has to kill him in front of you. What the fuck are you doing? Come down and bite me if you dare." While they were talking, Long Fei's heart exploded. Unparalleled level 9, open. Patriarch. Yang Huang ancestor replied, understood. With a move of the Yang Huang ancestor's power, the pressure on Jiyu Tongtian was directly expelled out of his body. Long Fei's body recovered its freedom, and chopped down at the top of Ju Lai's head, die. Chapter 1025 Hard-shelled Jiyu Tongtian. Chapter 1025 Hard-shelled Jiyu Tongtian. A furious roar. However, everything was cut down by a blade. Ju Lai didn't have time to react. He thought that with Jiyu Tongtian's appearance, he at least wouldn't die, but... So what if it was the great clan elder, Jiyu Tongtian? He can stop Long Fei? No. Long Fei went crazy, even he was afraid of himself. No. Ju Lai let out a mournful cry. Seeing the dragon Salia cutting down, he shouted, "Master, save me. No one can save you, not even the emperor." Boom. As the blade cleaved down, heads flew up, and fresh blood spurted out madly. In the sky, Jiyu Tongtian withdrew his primordial spirit and sucked it in. At this moment, he was also filled with thunderous fury, and the sky continued to sink. The gigantic simulacrum stared at Long Fei and said angrily, "Long Fei, you are too arrogant." Buzz. With an explosive sound, all of the flying fairyland's power exploded forth. Next. Pucci. Countless warriors in God Emperor City were crushed to the point of kneeling on the ground, spitting out blood. Some of them even had blood flowing out from their heads. He didn't even know how he died. Suddenly, Sundar and the others could not resist and instantly knelt on the ground. Their faces were in pain as they looked at Long Fei and said, "Young Master Long, we will be leaving first." Ah! They used the last bit of their power and jumped up. They wanted to rush to the sky and self-destruct their immortal foundation that they had cultivated for dozens of years to break Jiyu Tongtian's pressure. They were brothers that came with Long Fei in the water, brothers that went with the fire. Even if he died, Long Fei would not let them die. The idea moved and shouted, "Jiyu Tongtian, I'll let you have a taste of the holy artillery's power." 1,000 immortal crystals filled. Ding. 1,000 immortal crystals filled up. Long Fei withdrew his dragon Salia, lifted up the incomparably huge holy artillery, and shot towards the sky. Rumble. The strong pressure had broken through a small gap. Long Fei was extremely shocked in his heart. Just how strong is this Jiyu Tongtian, to actually only use 1,000 immortal crystals to tear a tiny bit of the pressure he released? Abnormal strength. Abnormal boss. I will definitely kill you. Long Fei gritted his teeth as he thought. It was also at this time. Yuna brought out the other 3 holy artillery s. Fu Shishan also took out 100,000 immortal crystals worth of space ring s and said, "Long Fei, catch." The ring appeared in his hand. Long Fei moved, "Let's see how strong your pressure is." 10,000 immortal crystals filled with energy. All 4 gates are open. Buzz. Buzz, buzz, buzz. This was the limit of the holy artillery, the limit of its energy. Long Fei shrugged and roared at the sky, "Is your palace question of God amazing? Slaughter them all." The energy released by the 10,000 immortal crystals was extremely huge, directly ripping apart the sky curtain. The huge illusion of Jiyu Tongtian in the sky was also shattered. "Holy artillery, you are incredibly powerful, Jiyu Tongtian, show me again." At the same time, Long Fei kept asking in his heart, "Has Patriarch found the location yet? Did you sense his location? I need his position." Yang Huang ancestor said, I'm looking, don't be anxious. No matter what. Let's blast him with a shot first." Jiyu Tongtian released so much pressure that it split the sky, causing him to feel extremely unhappy as well. He lowered his voice and said, "Long Fei, you are courting death. Laozi is courting death. Come F*King down and hit me." Long Fei's eyes kept on turning, trying to find Jiyu Tongtian's position. He wanted to use the holy artillery to attack him. Whether it was useful or not, he would first shoot a few times at. The instant that Long Fei spoke, a black shadow appeared in the sky. Yang Huang ancestor immediately said, "That's his position in real face." And then, Long Fei immediately carried the holy artillery and locked onto the black figure, and excitedly laughed, "Blast you to death." At the same time, a golden sword appeared in Jiyu Tongtian's hand. The sword released a light aura and pointed straight at Long Fei, Shua. A golden blade energy pierced through everything. Yang Huang ancestor and Yuna shouted at almost the same time, "Big brother Long Fei, quickly dodge. Kid, quickly dodge." This power was too strong. Only the two of them could sense how strong this sword chi was. However, at this time, Long Fei had no intention to dodge, she just wanted to clash head-on with him. Aoya moved. The three sword spirits were very powerful. The powerful sword intent spread out and blocked the golden sword intent. Buzz. Buzz. The three sword intents did not even manage to touch each other when they instantly shattered. The black knife moved, and his blade spirit also moved. With a roar, he chopped down with his blade. Boom. The power of the golden sword chi did not weaken at all. The black knife retreated repeatedly as it spat out a mouthful of blood. Its face darkened and shouted, "Boss, your strength is too strong, you cannot resist, quickly dodge." Even with the two Vajra attacking him, it was still impossible. Jiyu Tongtian's strength was simply too strong. Fat Man Chen took a step forward, and said in front of Long Fei, "And me, Holy Armor Fairy Vein, open the 10th level." Buzz, buzz. With a few explosions, the divine sword on Fat Man Chen's body was released, forming an extremely heavy defense. He stared at Jiyu Tongtian in the air and said, "Boss, kill him." At this moment, Long Fei had no choice. With a move of the idea, 10,000 immortal crystals shot out from the holy artillery, smashing right at Jiyu Tongtian's head. In that instant, Jiyu Tongtian's golden sword chi also pierced through. It stabbed into Fatty's godly armor. Boom. The godly armor exploded. The Fatty's body was pushed back. Unable to endure it any longer, he shouted in anger, Crack. The golden sword chi pierced through the heart of Fat Man Chen. Fat Man Chen was stunned. He retracted all the power from his body, and used all of his strength to fiercely push back the golden sword chi. In the end, the golden sword chi pierced through Fat Man Chen like a spear, pinning him to the ground. Chen Tianfei laughed crazily, "Ha ha ha." Following that, he turned his head to look at Long Fei, and muttered with a smile, "Boss, I'll be leaving first." He saw the bottom of the health point. Death descended. Long Fei panicked at this point. Seeing Fat Man Chen being nailed to the ground by the golden sword chi, his body trembled. No, no, no. The sky exploded. The impact of 10,000 immortal crystals on was not easy, but this only caused a little bit of damage to him. This little bit of damage was nothing to others, but for people like him who only had 2 years of life, it meant that his 1-month lifespan was gone. Anger raged. Killing intent rose in his heart. Long Fei, go and die. At the same time, the sky split open and a black shadow sprang out, coldly snorting, "Enough." Who was the black shadow? Chapter 1026 Violent Chaos. Chapter 1026 Violent Chaos. With a shout, a demonic intent filled the sky. The person who arrived, Western Devil Lord, the master of magic tribe of the Breaking Through the Seal, was also the most powerful one of the magic tribe. His voice slightly suppressed Jiyu Tongtian. Logically speaking. Furthermore, he treated Ju Lai as if he was his own grandson. He should be even more furious than Jiyu Tongtian, but, on the contrary, he was exceptionally calm, because of Long Fei. He needed Long Fei. In these 3 years, he felt his lifespan being used up. He was afraid that the day his lifespan was about to be used up would come, which caused a sliver of fear to form in his heart. This fear was like a demon that was deeply rooted in his mind. It couldn't be cut down, it couldn't be destroyed. This greatly affected his cultivation. Finally, he thought that if he wanted to cut off this heart demon, he would have to obtain more lifespan, and only by shackling God's martial continent's heart demon would he be able to find and kill the dragon domain and obtain the dragon ancestor's secret treasure. This was his only path. Thus, Long Fei cannot die. At the very least, he couldn't die yet. Jiyu Tongtian was enraged by Long Fei and his killing intent soared to the sky. If he was allowed to continue like this, his only hope would also be shattered. Once the pressure disappeared, his idea also sent a sound transmission to Jiyu Tongtian. Brother Jiyu, calm down. The two of them are allied together. The old man who appeared on the blood pool the last time was Jiyu Tongtian. Jiyu Tongtian's flying fairyland's aura also stopped for a moment, and he quickly calmed down. However, at this time, Long Fei looked at the fatty, and saw that his heart had been pierced with a big hole. The killing intent in his heart immediately made him lose his reason, and he roared, "Is that enough? Is that enough? Enough, mother, accompany your father's brother." Carrying the holy artillery, he fired another shot at Jiyu Tongtian. Rumble. Rumble. His voice was deafening. However, the energy from the 10,000 immortal crystals was rapidly expanding, and was also quickly being suppressed by a strong power. Then, a crack appeared in the sky, and the power of the Master of Magic tribe surged, directly transferring the energy from the 10,000 immortal crystals into the void. Transfer of power? Karkash's ability? Long Fei's eyes darkened as he stared at Western Devil Lord. Western Devil Lord slightly asked, "Long Fei, what are you using to fight us with? You are too weak now. If you want to kill us, then go find the Dragon Tail Tomb, the open dragon domain, and obtain the dragon race's full strength before you can kill us. Otherwise, you are not your match, understand? Speak out." At this point, there was nothing left to hide. Long Fei was not an idiot, he naturally could think of ways. "Ah, ha, ha." Long Fei laughed out wildly. "I've finally revealed your motive. I am the son of the language, the only one who can find the dragon domain is me, but I will not do so. Do you want to obtain the secret treasure of Long Clan? Ha ha ha. Don't even think about it." His voice was extremely arrogant. He already knew, and he also definitely wanted the open dragon domain. But that was what he said, and it annoyed them both. Jiyu Tongtian's eyes darkened. With a cold snort, he said, "Is it because you aren't looking for dragon domain? If you don't find the dragon domain one day, one of the people beside you will die. Today is this fat pig, tomorrow is your woman, and the day after tomorrow is your Nantian region's grandfather, family, and brothers. If you have the guts, then don't look for it." "Huh. Long Fei, let's see how many people around you can die, ha ha ha." Jiyu Tongtian was also boiling with anger, he was extremely furious. His words had once again touched onto that weakest nerve in the depths of Long Fei's heart which he wanted to protect the most. His eyes turned vicious. Long Fei's chi changed, following that, Long Fei bellowed, "Enchanted." Buzz. His body changed, and 6 black bone wings broke through his back. His hair was like blood, swaying in the wind, and his entire aura became abnormally cruel. He held a stone tablet in his hand, and a god's steel stone was resting on his shoulder. His aura was incomparably savage. At the same time, it was also extremely eye-catching. It was simply a show of force that could explode the heavens. The god's steel stone moved, like a treasure sword pointing at Jiyu Tongtian. It said, "You want to harm the person beside me, right? Then I'll kill you today." Ah. Enchanted. Long Fei had completely changed. The strength system in his body had also completely changed. The surrounding people were all dumbfounded. Is he a demon? He can become a demon? What kind of magic is this? Why have I never seen it before? 6 wings. And all of them are wings made of bones. What kind of magic is this? All sorts of discussions broke out. No one knew why Long Fei had turned into this state, and no one knew what kind of demon he was, because the demons caused by the side effects of the god's bone taboo did not belong to the plane of the god's martial continent. Yuna muttered, "Big brother Long Fei is so scary." Ling Long muttered to herself, "He must be feeling terrible. Look at his expression, it's so painful." Pain? It was quite painful. Every time Long Fei entered the demonic state, his body would undergo an intense metamorphosis. Especially when his bones broke through his body, the pain of his body splitting apart was incomparable. This was the first time he had displayed the demonic side of his body in the immortal domain. Because he was truly infuriated. Fatty was dead. Jiyu Tongtian was threatening his family, and this was something Long Fei could not tolerate. With a thought, he soared into the sky. He roared in his heart, "God's bone taboo, open the 9th floor." The power of the 9th level erupted. The black flames of power around Long Fei's body burned even more crazily. It was as if he had come from hell, and it was extremely cruel as he stared at Jiyu Tongtian. "Are you messing with my family? Come, let's see who can kill who today." Buzz. With that, Long Fei disappeared. A green light flashed on the god's steel stone. Long Fei's power completely surged out, magic chop. It smashed down ruthlessly towards Jiyu Tongtian's head. The muscles at the corner of Jiyu Tongtian's eyes twitched, and he shouted, "You sure you don't know your own limits, with just you? All techniques through the heavens." Jiyu Tongtian's energy surged as he raised his hands and said solemnly, "Break for me." The god's steel stone crashed down. Jiyu Tongtian shook his head. Crack. Bang, bang, bang. The air continued to crack and emit muffled sounds. Jiyu Tongtian continued to descend. He couldn't bear it. The combination of the power of the 9th level of the god's bone taboo and the power of the god's steel stone was just too strong. Although it was not enough to destroy another strike like what it had done to restrain Han Ba, this power was enough to shake the powerhouse of the flying fairyland. Jiyu Tongtian was crushed. For the first time in centuries. Everyone in the God Emperor city was stunned. Even the Western Devil Lord was stunned. This kid. Incredible. Chapter 1027, Berserk. Chapter 1027, Berserk. It was a complete mess. Jiyu Tongtian was an existence at the peak of powerhouse in this world. There have been no rivals for hundreds of years. Not to mention that no one could crush him. But, now that he had been crushed by one of Long Fei's powers, he continuously descended from the skies. A loud sound echoed out. Rumble. Jiyu Tongtian knelt in the middle of the pit, his hair falling down in a bun, blood trickling down the corner of his mouth. His face was extremely pale, and he looked even more miserable, to the extreme. A heavy blow. The entire city was so quiet that not a single sound could be heard. Too fierce. It was so sudden that it was hard for people to accept. Jiyu Tongtian, the super invincible powerhouse of the flying fairyland, was forced to kneel on the ground by Long Fei with just one move. His heart couldn't take it. The power of this move was something even the Western Devil Lord could not react to. As his heart trembled, "This is your strongest power? The strongest trump card? The strongest power? Maybe. Because the power of the strike had instantly killed Han Ba. It was also because he had restrained Han Ba's power that he was able to unleash the destructive strike. Speaking of the strongest power, that was even more so the level 10,000 Han Ba. However, his loyalty was only 0.00001%. Long Fei did not dare to summon him out easily. Han Ba was the true trump card of Long Fei. Level 10,000, divinity. Han Ba, who had been suppressed for billions of years. He was the true terrifying existence. When Long Fei's move landed, he did not stop. The gigantic god's steel stone in his hands moved, and once again smashed downwards towards Jiyu Tongtian's head. Wasn't he overweeningly arrogant? Come again. Boom. Long Fei moved. He moved with all his strength while kneeling on the ground. Magic chop, Western Devil Lord shouted. Long Fei, stop. Who the F*** K are you? You're telling Lousy to stop, so stop. Let's kill him first, then you. Long Fei's anger did not decrease at all. The fatty's death had stimulated her killing intent, and his mind was filled with the berserk power of slaughter. He would be displeased if he did not kill Jiyu Tongtian. Jiyu Tongtian slightly raised both his eyes, gritted his teeth as his body slowly stood up. Looking at the god's steel stone that was smashing down from the sky, his voice was extremely low. Long Fei, you have lived to the end. As soon as his voice faded, his figure disappeared. Too fast. It was so fast that no one could react. However, Long Fei became even more berserk. He suddenly retracted his god's steel stone and roared in his heart, Level 9 unparalleled, open. Ah! The elemental energy within his body increased by 512 times. Every time his strength increased, he would have to endure a great deal of pain. This was the god's bone taboo, the power of punishment. Long Fei had to grit his teeth to the point of shattering it. Tears streamed down Yuna's face as she said, Big brother Long Fei is in too much pain. He really is in pain. Father, please help big brother Long Fei. Sister Qian, help him. He's in too much pain. Yuna could feel all the pain that Long Fei's body was going to suffer, and even if she could feel it, she wouldn't be able to endure it. Help Long Fei. They all wanted to help. But, to them, Long Fei and Jiyu Tongtian were existences akin to gods and fairies. They could not help in any way. Going up to help would only add to Long Fei's troubles. Everyone felt a heartache as if they had died. If they could become a little stronger, they could share a little more for Long Fei. It would not be like this, where there was nothing that could be done. The Great Master is getting serious. Long Fei is going to die. I've never seen a Grand Elder fight so seriously before. He's a level 8 flying immortal, a supreme existence. Who could possibly be his enemy? Long Fei is really overestimating himself. Just watch, he's going to die soon. Jiyu Tongtian was too strong. It was as powerful as the heavens and as powerful as a god, and no one could even touch it. He had always estimated his lifespan and dared not use his true strength, but now, his strength exploded, and he could no longer hold himself back. Western Devil Lord's heart also thumped. This is bad. At this moment, even if he wanted to stop it, it would be too late. Long Fei had angered a super ferocious beast, so the current Jiyu Tongtian would kill him no matter what methods he used. This power. Even the Western Devil Lord was a little afraid. However, Long Fei was fearless. His elemental energy exploded more than 500 times. He instantly saw Jiyu Tongtian's moving trajectory, and the corner of his mouth curled up as he laughed sinisterly. I'll let you see something even worse. Buzz. The god's steel stone that was put away moved, and suddenly swept out. Not waiting for Jiyu Tongtian to come close, the green-silver light on the god's steel stone fiercely exploded. The power of the heavenly scourge hidden within the god's steel stone was activated. Shua. He swept out, heavily slashing at Jiyu Tongtian's waist. Puff. He spat out a mouthful of blood. Jiyu Tongtian's body exploded outwards as his eyes stared unwaveringly at Long Fei. He said, Impossible, absolutely impossible, you can't see my speed clearly, you can't. When he said this, the 6 wings on Long Fei's back moved, disappeared. He landed behind Jiyu Tongtian and swung his god steel stone. Boom. After chopping him down from the sky, the ground exploded, and like a meteorite, a huge pit appeared. Jiyu Tongtian was still kneeling on the ground, and before he could even react, Long Fei had shaken his powerful strength. Rumble. Jiyu Tongtian was sent flying, and once again leaped into the air. Long Fei struck again. Are you threatening this, Daddy? Boom. Jiyu Tongtian was sent flying. Whoosh. Long Fei landed behind him again and shouted, Kill my brother. Boom. The god's steel stone rumbled. Jiyu Tongtian was once again sent flying. His body moved once more as he shouted in a deep voice, Injured my father. Boom. 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 A series of continuous, explosive blows. A berserk, dominating force. Taking advantage of his sickness, killing him, and not giving Jiyu Tongtian any chance to retaliate, Long Fei used all of his strength to beat Jiyu Tongtian to the point that he did not even look like a human anymore. His hair was in disarray and fresh blood dripped from his body. Again and again. Those who were still alive in the God Emperor City, God Emperor Academy, and the Palace Question of God, not a single sound could be heard. The air was too oppressive. The scene crushed everyone's hearts, causing them to be unable to breathe and feeling extremely uncomfortable. Suddenly, 4 shadows flashed across the outer space palace. 4 streams of unparalleled flying fairyland power surged out. The 4 great elders all took action. At the same time, Jiyu Tongtian laughed sinisterly. Ha ha ha. Ah, ha, ha. Long Fei, is that all you have? You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories,